This Boardwalk Cash thing is new. We've talked about it a bit over the weeks and months, but I just wanted to kind of get a little bit more hands-on feel for like how it works and what you're thinking, how you're inspired to build this and sort of how it works and what it does. So like we're actually getting a screen share and all that. So, welcome. Thanks for making the time.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, like can we talk a little bit about eCash just like for the basics? Because I think a lot of people get what is Bitcoin, what is Lightning, but then what is eCash? Is it a layer three?
Yeah.
Is it something like Lightning? Is it just give us a little bit of heads up on that.
So there's a lot of things eCash is, there's a lot of things Nostr is. I have a very specific approach into how I think about building on Nostr and building with eCash, and that's to make Bitcoin payments better. So not to scale Bitcoin, none of that stuff. It's just like, how do we make UX with Bitcoin payments better? Because Bitcoin payments work horribly right now. Like just to give an example, if like I wanted to send you a Lightning payment, I would have to open my wallet. You have to like send me something, potentially an invoice that's like an insane number of characters long, and then I have to like pay that invoice from my wallet. And it's great.
We already have to have liquidity, right? Like inbound liquidity set up.
And yeah, we need liquidity if we want to be self-custody, or even if we just want to use custodial solutions. That's still like worse than every other payment method in the world to do that. And it's like a high bar to like get over. And then there's like sats involved. Like me and you know what sats are, but even like the average Bitcoiner probably doesn't know what a sat is or how it converts to Bitcoin. And so it's just like bar after bar after bar to leap over. And that's why like Lightning usage is super low. Because there's like too many hurdles to go through, even for like what I would say are like the normal Bitcoiner, someone that owns Bitcoin in their wallet and like would want to use it potentially. And so a year and a half ago or so, when Nostr came out, I was super interested in understanding Nostr as a messaging protocol, social media protocol. And then like a few months after diving in, the Nostr Wallet Connect idea came about. Like, how do we do Zaps in Nostr? And that's like where it's like kind of clicked, is that Nostr via Nostr Wallet Connect, this like messaging protocol, could be used for layer twos, which are like Lightning nodes or Lightning wallets, to talk to each other to enable one-click payments. So Nostr via Zaps, which most people are familiar with, it actually lets you via Nostr Wallet Connect make a one-click payment. So I can pay you, and all I have to do is like click a button in the app that I'm already in. Like I don't have to go open my wallet. I don't have to scan an invoice. It's just like a one-click payment. And there's a bunch of other things we can talk about that Nostr enables, which is why I originally founded Prism and started building Prisms, which are just one-click multi-party payments. And we can come back to this, but to wrap back to eCash. And so we've been working on that for a few months now. And then first heard of eCash probably 2 months ago. I actually worked on some eCash stuff like 2 years ago, but came back like 2 months ago and started digging in and realized that there's a few UX improvements even above Nostr that eCash enables that Nostr like maybe could enable, but I think eCash is probably a better way to do it. And those like the two very specific things, and the reason I'm focused on eCash is, one, it allows static message. So you can send like a static token, and I can send it to you in a DM, and I can go to sleep or close my Twitter or whatever, and like a week later you can open that up and you could click that button and you would have like 100 sats that you could withdraw to your wallet.
So is that static messages handling static, meaning is the main benefit that it handles like the offline use case? Is that what you mean by static, or is there some other advantage you get too?
There's static in that you can be offline, but there's no like handshake back and forth where like I have to ask you what's your Lightning address, right? And then you have to tell me your Lightning address.
I see.
Right. I can send you a text with like a message, and you can click that text and get your eCash, and you didn't have to tell me anything, and I didn't have to ask you anything. So that's like really, that was like oh wow, this is like awesome. You can send like a static message, and that message is not in the moment. It's not like doesn't require a Lightning payment to happen. Like eventually, if you want to withdraw to your Lightning wallet, there's got to be a Lightning payment. But like think of it in the Prism context as I want to send 1,000 Lightning payments. Like doing that over Lightning is like with one click you'd probably just, the wallet that you're sending that message to would just like cut you off for spam. But like eCash, it's really easy. You can send like 1,000 eCash tokens with like one click. So that's sort of the original excitement I had from eCash, and I think like
So it kind of behaves like a bearer instrument. Is that a fair way to think about it?
A bearer token. Exactly.
Okay.
It's just like a bearer token. Yeah. That you can send in like any kind of message. I kind of like message. Well, we can come back to like the layer 3 thing, but I kind of think of like Cashu as just this messaging protocol, similar to. I think of Cashu and Nostr Wallet Connect as like very similar at a high level. Their messaging protocols. And we can come back. We can come back to that. Yeah. And then the second thing. So the second like extremely important thing that eCash enables is Stablecash, which is actually a term I took from you. I don't know if you realize that, but you sent that as text like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds good." Oh. And the reasons that I like that, like calling it that, but it allows you to have stable value on top of Bitcoin. So you can have a dollar token, dollar-denominated eCash token, that sits on top of Bitcoin. So you can withdraw and deposit money whenever you want via Bitcoin. But in the moment that you have that token, it's stable, and it's tied to a mint. We can get into all that. But at a super high level, we now have stable value on top of Bitcoin in like a really clever, easy, simple way, which we've been trying to solve for like years and years, and now it's solved. So I think that, and so those two things, the kind of static token or bearer token, static message, and Stablecash are what we can do a demo of Boardwalk Cash, but you notice those are like what we leaned into. In addition to Nostr Wallet Connect, those are like kind of the three key features.
And like the Nostr Wallet Connect stuff has been out for a while. I think the Cashu stuff feels like it's somewhat newer, at least getting a lot more airtime and attention from people these days. Was there a recent big breakthrough that enabled all these pieces to come together? It just required somebody actually connect the dots and build this kind of service?
I don't know. I think someone just had to connect the dots. I think that, Nostr Wallet Connect came out of, I think it was maybe, don't quote me on this, but I think it was like Damus wanting to send zaps and needing to figure out a way, or it might have been Amethyst back in like February a year plus ago. And that's how
Nostr Wallet they didn't want to have to host their own wallet in their own app because of the Apple.
Yeah, and they needed some like way to send a message to, and then Alby was the wallet that wanted to have the zap to connect the zaps, and so that's I think how zaps and Nostr Wallet Connect came about, which is just a Nostr NIP.
And Nostr Wallet
don't
Connect
quote me on that,
but just connecting the wallet, a Lightning wallet, to an app like Damus. That's the whole purpose of Nostr Wallet Connect, right?
Yeah, the way that it works is your Lightning wallet. So let's say Alby in this case, Alby will give you a secret, like a secret string, and you can take that string or that message, and you can put it in any app. So in the Zap case, you can put it in Damus. When you go to then send, if I want to send you 21 sats on Damus, I click the little lightning bolt. What Nostr Wallet Connect does is it sends a message to Alby, and it says, Bob, here's Bob's secret key, like it's him because here's the key. Can you please send this address, which happens to be your Lightning address, money? And in Alby, you can, I'm not sure, but like you could either have that happen automatically, or you can, I know a Mutiny, like you can have it manual. So it's kind of up to the wallet how they want to handle that payment request. But it's just a message that comes into the wallet, asking, validating that it's the owner of the account that made the request, and then asking the wallet to approve the payment. And so
is that's happening on like a live server, or does it actually go through? Are these like signed messages on a relay somewhere?
Relays, yeah.
Okay.
So Alby, in this case, Alby and Mutiny run their own relay, so they're just always listening for events happening.
I see. But if you were to run a Nostr Wallet Connect, you could go through Alby's relay, or you could just send it out anywhere, just like a regular Nostr message.
It needs. Alby needs to like know what happened, so you would want to write it to Alby's relay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
and then eCash, that eCash was just, I forget how it originally came up, but it seemed very interesting just based on some of the demos Callie was doing. And so we just dug in more there and realized it opens up a lot of really cool experiences for users.
Yeah. And I know the Prism stuff that you were working on before, and I actually saw your talk at it Nostrasia 2023? Was that the one where you gave a talk
Yeah,
on the
in
early Prism
Tokyo.
stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that stuff like evolving now, or is it more like how does this relate to the original Prism stuff?
Yeah, I think it's very related. The talk, super high level of the talk was that Bitcoin payments don't work really well. Like every other payment method kind of works better. Like when you and I to go buy a coffee at the coffee store, like we probably use our Amex, even if like our coffee store accepted Bitcoin payments, we would still probably use our Amex. And there's a bunch of
You're kind of
reasons.
fancy with the
Main
Amex.
reason what or whatever,
Kind of
the
fancy.
Chase or whatever, and yeah, whatever card you have. And the reason is like one, you get rewards points, which is why I like kind of using the Amex or the Chase example. Is like you get 2% back. Bitcoin does get you
Yep.
cash back. You get an airport lounge, or like if you're a Sapphire member, you get some lounge at the concerts you go to. And so like you probably want to use that card, right? So using Bitcoin payment might not actually be better. In fact, it's like
Hmm.
not better. Like yeah, you should use that Chase card if you have it. And so part of the talk was like, well, what are Bitcoin payments better at? And Bitcoin's just like internet money. So like, what's the internet really good at? It's like typing one thing and having like millions of people look at it. And so Bitcoin should be able to do that. And so can you like click one button and send money to like 1,000 people? And you can't. You actually can't even send money to three people in any reasonable amount of time. Like because you have to ask three of them for their Lightning addresses, and you can't do it with Visa. You can't send like a multi-party payment anyway reasonably. Like you can't use your Venmo if they're in other countries. You can't use your Cash App if they're in other countries. But you can use Bitcoin. And so why can't we do it? Is why can't we today until like a few months ago use Bitcoin to send one-click multi-party payments? Because there's like no messaging layer. Like I think of the Bitcoin stack as layer one is Bitcoin, layer two is Lightning, and layer three is a messaging layer. And there was no messaging layer. We just had like Bitcoin and Lightning. And so that would be very equivalent in how every other payment system works as like you have layer one, which is like dollars, you have layer two, which is banks, and then you have like layer three, which is Visa and MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard are actually like super helpful because when you go buy your coffee, you don't have to like ever type in Bank of America or open up a Bank of America app. You just swipe your Visa card and it's like a messaging layer.
Yep.
Visa never touches any money. Visa just tells your bank where to send the money. And so it tells your bank, the issuing bank, to send it to the acquiring bank. And like Visa never touches money. They just like tell the banks where to route. And Nostr is the same exact thing. So that's exactly what Nostr Wallet Connect does. It's exactly what Visa does. And it makes sending payments way easier. And so it's this like messaging layer on top of a layer two that actually makes payments usable for Bitcoin. And so the kind of the point of the talk is we should be optimizing payments to get like the way you get Bitcoin adoption and the way you get more people using Bitcoin is build these experiences that are 100x better than what exists traditionally. Don't focus on
Yep.
paying for a coffee because like that's already solved and you can't make it 10x better. You can't even make it 1x better with Bitcoin. But you
Yep.
can make 1,000-person payment now. You can, with one click, send Bitcoin to everyone that's like, you know, responded to a thread on Nostr. And so that's like the kind of where we were with Nostr. And then eCash is, I would say, a layer on top of that or a layer next to it. It's like, it's also, I think of it as like a layer three. It enables now instead of sending 1,000 Lightning payments, which like technically is kind of hard, you can send like 1,000 eCash payments. You can still be using Nostr. You can still be using all the benefits of Nostr Wallet Connect. But in the future, you can also do it interchangeably with eCash. And the back end and like the settlement layer is like Lightning on the back end, or helping execute those payments. We can now like do much more with Bitcoin payments. And then
So it sounds like the multi-party payment stuff is actually kind of like a motivation for like a use case where this is like really important.
for eCash,
But but eCash isn't somehow required to be used in that context, right? It could be used in a
no,
one-on-one or
no,
something
you can.
just as
I mean, there's
well.
like a million other things you can use eCash for. I just think there's two very specific UX use cases that make it interesting.
Got it. And when you're designing Boardwalk Cash, is that meant
Yeah.
to be super focused on the prisms and splits and multi-party stuff, or is it kind of agnostic to that?
It's both. So if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. But I think the Nostr Wallet Connect stuff, and we'll go through how we designed it. But that's like front and center is the Nostr Wallet Connect stuff, and we don't call it Nostr Wallet Connect, and or we try not to, and we try not to use Nostr, and we try not to say Bitcoin because we're designing this for just the average person that wants to use payments on the internet. But yeah, that's a key piece of it.
Cool. So should we get into like screen share, and we can keep kind of talking about some of the motivating stuff, but like let's actually see what it looks like.
Yes. So we'll start from the top, right? Like if you just go to boardwalkcash.com.
Yeah. Like I actually think like getting as as early in the motivation as possible, the better. So it's like, am I imagining like I sign up for a new service, like maybe I sign up for Damus for the first time, would I start to think about how to use this as an alternative, like to connect a kind of a lightning powered wallet, or like maybe it's not even explained as such, but like what's sort of the entry point to this experience?
Yeah. So
Like for maybe a trad user.
Yeah, so the main one we're focused on is where, at least early on, is where people want to send you money and you just want to like kind of easily get it. Is like the high level way to think about it. So like, and the main one's around zaps, right? So I want to zap you $1. How do you like get $1? Do you download the Cash app? Do you like no? Because there's no Lightning address yet. Like what's the best way to do that? And if the answer is like download, then it's like you lost half the people, right? If the answer is like click a button, then like you got probably double the number of people. And so how can we make it really, really easy? Like I want to send you $1. I want to send you $1, right? Like there's all these like edge cases and all these like scenarios where like someone's trying to like, scam you or whatever. No, I just like want to send you $1. Let's just design something useful for that. Because 99% of the time, like people want to send money. They're not trying to.
And when you want to send me $1, are you assuming that you start with like a bank dollar, a digital dollar, Bitcoin, or something else?
The sender is starting with Bitcoin. Yeah.
Okay. The
So
sender
it's
savvy
kind of like
on Bitcoin.
sender like is probably savvy at Bitcoin. At least this is like very, very early. So this is like kind of where we're starting. But the way I think about it is like there's a bunch of people that know how to use Bitcoin, and then there's a bunch of people that we want to like onboard to Bitcoin. And so I think of this as a tool to like onboard people to Bitcoin, is like get them familiar with like a payment use case that's interesting, and then we can like orange pill them later. But there are a bunch of Bitcoiners and Bitcoin companies that want to send money to people and don't want to have to explain what a SAT is, and don't want to send like an LN 1,000 character thing around.
Yep. Cool. Okay, so I think we've got some of the good motivation
so
for sort of the use case. Somebody has Bitcoin as a sender they want to send, and somebody just doesn't really understand Bitcoin necessarily, but they just want to receive and hold $1.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so we've kind of designed around that. So there's two. Remind me to walk through like both of those, how we onboard people to Boardwalk Cash, because I think that's interesting. This is like the least interesting way to come to Boardwalk Cash is going to boardwalkcash.com.
Right, yeah. Presumably it's through some interaction with people, but
exactly, yeah. So
and
I'll give a warning here.
Like compliment you in public. I love the aesthetic of this, and I see a lot of people commenting on the aesthetic. So congratulations!
Nice.
I think it's actually hitting.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Oh, in your Discord,
I don't know where the comments
people are
are
in the Discord commenting, not on this stream, but on the Discord.
Oh yeah, it's a little, okay.
A little back and forth about that.
I don't know if people. This is like this is Monopoly, right? It's like the Boardwalk Square in Monopoly. And then cool little font here, and then so the key thing here, like the takeaway of this, is just like it's a bearer token. So like if you clear your local storage, you lose your tokens. So don't do that unless you want to lose your tokens. Okay, and then this is the mint page. So we can come to the mints at a high level. Like the way we think about kind of showing off eCash is like start with the wallets, show like the use cases, and then like there's a ton of stuff that needs to be worked on, that is being worked on the mint side. But it's super early. Like you couldn't even have a non-SAT mint until a week ago. So the protocol is just really early. So we try to make it easy for people like discover mints here. Like we don't run our own mint. We're working on some tools to make running mints easy. But we don't run our own mint. So we let people discover mints. So you can either go to bitcoinmints.com, which is, this is another product that we launched like a month ago, and you'll see there's only one mint. It's a really cool mint, and we can talk more about
And this isn't a
mints.
mint that you're running. This is somebody else
No,
is
this is
running
someone
this
else's
one.
mint. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We're not running this mint, so you can copy this, and you can hop back here, and hopefully there's going to be like thousands of mints um, in the future. I think there will be, and you can also run private mints. So like I have a bunch of mints, but I don't put them on anything public. And then I can go back here. So you can do that, or you can just say top rated mint, and you click that, and there's only one, so
Mm.
it's a top rated one. But that makes it easier for new people just to get here.
And
You
most of
come
that
over
mint
here.
selection is going to happen in the process of like the sender initiation point. Is that right?
I
Because
think,
at the time you're
yeah,
receiving, you're
I
just
think
clicking
so.
through a thing and you don't have to think about it. You just get eCash for whatever mint you're part of. So this is kind of like the sender experience, more or less.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly, yeah, yeah. Um, and yeah, I don't really know how it's going to evolve, so we'll just however it evolves, we'll just make it easy for users. Okay, and then if you come over here, so you'll see this is like kind of the settings menu. There's two things. There's your
Hmm.
mints, so you can add a mint. So you can go back to Bitcoin mints and add a mint. And then there's Nostr Wallet Connect, which we just call connections. Okay, so
And
then
connections are
$0. How do we get money in
connections
here?
between Mint and your own Lightning wallet. Is that what the connections are?
Connections between, no. So this is a wallet. This is a Lightning wallet. So connections are connections between apps and this wallet.
Oh, okay. So if I wanted this to be like my
Yeah.
wallet connected to Damas or something, I could add that in the connections
Yeah.
tab that we just looked at. Okay.
Yeah. The caveat is this is the tokens are in your browser, so you have to be online. Like your browser has to be open. And we'll think of ways to solve that, but it's similar to like Mutiny is like the tokens are in your browser. So if your app is
Yeah.
closed, you can't zap anybody.
So after you've received these, maybe you'll grab your 12 words later and store them somewhere safe. Is that kind of the idea?
Yes, you could do that. Um, that's the plan right now. We don't, that's like a different nut, which is, like NIPS, but from
Okay. Yeah.
Cashu. And so we don't have it implemented. So don't put that much money in here, which is just like a general statement right now. I would not put much money in here because like the
Right.
protocol just like got upgraded like a week ago, right? So we don't have
Right.
that in there because we assume people are going to put more than $1 in here, or whatever, $10. We
But
should
this is
just
like a
be willing
proper
to lose
Lightning
it.
wallet, right? So I could connect this to Damas, and if somebody sends me Lightning, it would show up here, and it would appear to me not to be Lightning, because the Lightning would be stored in
It
the
just look
Mint,
like
and this
dollars.
would look like dollars. Okay.
Yeah, you just get dollars. Yeah, we can go through that example too, so you can see what it looks
That's a
like.
very cool innovation. Like,
Yeah,
we should talk about the voodoo of how that works, but I think just helping people get dollars, because I think a lot of people all around the world want dollars, and like that,
yep,
like be able to provide that kind of experience is pretty slick.
yeah, completely. I mean, it's like one of the biggest hurdles, period, for people adopting anything in Bitcoin, especially since we call it Sats and not Bitcoin, which maybe we can change
Right.
in the future. But like explaining a Sat to someone is like a non-starter for 99% of people. But if you just like, here's a quarter, people are like, oh, I know what that is. So it's much, much easier.
So you may have another thing in this sort of simple happy path to address. So you can tell me, like, we'll get to this later. But I'm imagining, what if I have like two mints connected, and then I connect this to Damas, and then somebody zaps me? Does it go to one or the other of those mints, and then that mint issues me an eCash, or how does it sort of
Yeah,
decide what to do?
good question. Here, let me just, so this is a quick preview of some stuff we're working on, but let me just grab another mint so you can see that. Okay, so here's a mint. It's another dollar mint, right? So you can see there's
Hmm.
two mints now. So when there's two mints, there's like a main mint.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So
Oh,
you
I see.
choose
And
your
you can
main
set
mint,
main.
and so you can set your main mint. So if I wanted to set this as my main mint, I would just like set this as my main mint. If I wanted to swap, well, there's no money in here yet, but if I wanted to swap everything from this mint to this mint, I would just swap. And then if you copy, it copies the link. So,
All right.
uh,
Cool.
so yeah, this
And, and
is
and I get we're sort of early in playing with these things, but I'm trying to imagine like in the, let's say the far future, like does a lot of this stuff get kind of hidden under the covers, or do you think it's important that because of the trust required in these mints, do you think it's important that that's always sort of visible and accessible this way?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's definitely important. Um, I think there's a lot of UX improvements that could be made on the mint side, though. I think there has to be, or people, it's like almost too confusing. Like this almost like we got a lot of rid of a lot of the confusion, but this is like a new confusion piece. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get now what all these things are, but when I was playing with it, I wasn't sure what
Yeah.
all the swapping and setting to main meant. Now I get it. Now that we've talked about it,
Yeah,
but
you need like a main mint to request like invoices to like one has to be your main when money comes in and money goes out.
I see. Yeah.
Although that's not true
But,
because like Callie's working on a lot of this cool stuff that will just like oh yeah, I guess that's an answer to your question. Like Callie's working on the stuff where you could pay an invoice and it comes out of like multiple mints. So like you could actually almost hide this balance too. And so you just have a single balance. You wouldn't have to swap between them. If I had $5 here and $5 here, I could just make a $10 payment. It would pull from both of them. Right now, you can't do that at all. If you try to make a $10 payment, I had 5 and 5, it would give you an error and say you don't have enough money, which is like kind of confusing because people will be like, well,
right.
how's that?
Looks like
You
it
don't have
does.
money. What are you talking about? So
So that's getting baked
it's
into the
solvable.
protocol.
I think it requires, yeah, it requires something new in the protocol.
But then you'll be
He
able to
has
hit
a bunch
send
of tweets
and
about it.
it'll pull money from each of the mints where you have it stored and it'll send it wherever your destination is. And presumably your destination is typically a Lightning
A
address
single
of
Lightning
some form.
invoice. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Okay.
think. Don't quote me on that. I spent like 5 minutes looking at it, and I was like,
All right.
that seems interesting.
Yep.
Um, okay, so set that as our main mint. So now, how do you get money in? You can like receive money, deposit money. You can
Okay,
either
can
paste a
we
token, which will do. Yeah,
yeah, I was going to ask, what is this? So paste a token or enter an amount. If I paste a token, that's like if you had texted me a big long string of eCash,
yeah.
I could paste that token here. But what does it mean to enter an amount USD?
Or just like how much money do you want to receive? So let's say, well, yeah, let's do $3. So if I went $3 now, I just
We're
want to
looking at a
scan this.
Lightning invoice?
This is a Lightning invoice. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, one of the cool things is I can scan this with Strike and send it from, so I'm like on my Strike account and I can send it from
Yeah.
my dollar balance. So I'm like literally sending $3.04. So there's like a slightly higher. There's a 1 cent routing fee. So I guess Strike's adding 1% plus the cent routing fee. So $3.04 and I get $3 like literally instantly. Um,
Okay, I just
which
sent
I
you
think
some
is
too.
like very cool.
I just
Okay.
paid that
Yeah.
invoice. Did you get
Oh,
it?
you did? I don't know what. No, I don't know what's going to happen if you like paid that
Oh,
invoice. If I paid that invoice,
I wanted to see
one
if
of
I
them will
could.
fail.
I wanted to see if I could send it through the live stream.
Oh, shoot. Well, one of ours failed. I don't know which one. I
It
sent
looked to
mine
me
went
like it
through, so I
worked. I
think.
don't know. Okay, maybe mine rejected. I don't. I'm just using some old wallet that I've been having problems with anyway. So
So here's the $3. So what happened here is the mint gave us that. The mint stable nut mint gave us that invoice, and we paid it. And because we paid it, the mint then returned us $3 worth of tokens.
hmm
So uh, now we have $3 worth of eCash tokens. It's actually like a bunch of tokens that when you add them up, they add up to $3. So that's one way
I
to get
say a
money in,
bunch
and
of
then how do you get money?
tokens. Is that just because of the like powers of two implementation stuff around eCash? When you say a number of
Exactly.
tokens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So whatever power of two, I don't know how you do the math, but up to three, whatever adds to $3. That's how many tokens you get.
But the
Um,
tokens are denominated in Lightning, or they're actually
no, they're
denominated
just
in USD here.
dollars. They're
Okay.
they're in
We
USD.
can-
They're just like the unit of the token is $3. Uh, the key is that it's tied to the mint. So the uh, like the ultimate like decider of how many sats you get back when you want those three tokens is the mint. So you have to trust the
mhm.
mint that like
Right.
in 5 days when I want to send this $3 out, that when I get a quote back, or when I send the Mint my Lightning address, they send me $3 of sats at that exchange rate.
Right. And we haven't talked about the voodoo of how that stability works, but I'm imagining if you have multiple mints that are composing this dollar amount, if they sort of are have some underlying changes from time to time, your actually wallet balance here might fluctuate. Is that right, or do you have a way
No,
to
no, it'll because
create
this
more
is it's just
stability?
this is like just a dumb token that says it's like a token. It's like I'm worth 2 cents, like
Hmm.
US dollar cents. That's all it
Hmm.
knows. They don't know. It doesn't
Okay.
know like that Bitcoin price went down 50% or up 50%. It's just like it's just a 2 cent token,
Okay, so that's
and it'll
purely
just
up
show
to
up
the
as two.
mint.
It'll show up as 2 cents here. It's just like up to the mint when you want to get
It's purely up to
liquidity.
the mint to sort the stability of it.
Yep, you broke up a little, but the
Oh,
mint is the one that creates the stability. Yeah.
cool.
So I mean, an extreme example, if the mint, let's say the mint only had a $3 uh, balance, and they just like decided to send all the money out, and then I wanted to get my $3 out, there would be no money in there. So um,
Hmm.
there is a
And
trust component.
is now a good time to talk about how that voodoo works, or is there something else that you want to show first?
On the mint side, I would actually um, we can like high level talk about it. There's a the way I think, yeah, maybe we can talk about that really quick, and then I can show the send stuff. And so on the mint side, there's a spectrum of how you get stability, right? Is like kind of how the way I think about it. And there's like a ton of experiments happening right now of how to do that. So stable nut mint, which is where this $3 is sitting, if you go to their website, they'll like describe how it's working. So you can go to their website, you can see that they have $101 of reserves here. You can see their liabilities. So they minted $240 worth of tokens. You can actually see, this is like really cool, by the way. You can actually see this is probably the token. If you add up all these tokens that were issued here, this is probably $3 um, because
Hmm.
I minted a $3 token. So
That looks
every
like two
token that
dollars
gets
fifty
minted,
six plus four, right?
yeah,
That's two
4
sixty
plus
plus
40.
eight
So
and
this is
32.
$3. Yeah.
Yeah, 40.
So
Yeah,
this is
yeah. That's
this is
it.
the token I
That's
just
cool.
minted, split into powers of two. If I burn a token, which means send it out of the wallet, you'll see that here. So it's really cool. It's like everything's public. It all publishes in real time. And then they publish some of the reserve stuff here as well. And they use a thing called stable channels. And I am not an expert on this at all, but they have a bunch of good resources. Callie's talked a lot about how this could work as well. Um, this, I would say, is like um, toward one end of the spectrum. Like there's this. How else could you do this? You could just every time a dollar, let's say every time $1 worth of Bitcoin came in, you could just like immediately swap it for dollars, and you would just always be. And this is like a very simple example. You would just always have a dollar balance, and you'd be 100% hedged, right? You could just have it. There's a ton of APIs that allow you to swap Bitcoin to dollars, so you do that. You just and that's like
And
on one end.
you're
On
holding.
the other end, if I let's
How does
say
that work when you're swapping Bitcoin to dollars? You're like, I understand how to hold Bitcoin in kind of self custody, but are you talking about like a bank dollar or a digital dollar held in self custody?
I mean, no. I mean, it could, yeah. That's like on one side of the spectrum, which is like stable channels with like a ton of, with like very transparent reserves in like a self custody type way. There's like using an API that's just hitting an exchange. So you could just hit every time a SAT amount came in, you could just immediately swap it for dollars on an exchange, just like use Coinbase, right? And then you just have like
Hmm.
dollars in a bank account. And that's on one end of the spectrum too. You could have it backed with like taproot assets is like another thing you could do. And like every time sats came in, they could just swap to dollar assets, dollar taproot assets. So there's a bunch of ways to do it. Um, it's like everyone's trying to like figure it out now. You couldn't do
I
dollars
see.
till
So
like
there's not
a
like
week ago,
a
right? So here's the
canonical way to do it. It's more just like early experimentation
no,
out
it's
in
like up to the
directions
mint.
here.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, you could just not hedge at all, right? Like there's no I don't know, rule that you have to hedge dollars. If I had like a million Bitcoin balance and I wanted to mint like $100 and like give it to my friends, like I don't need to hedge that. Bitcoin's not
Right,
coming down
right.
99.9%, right? So he's like essentially risk free
Yep.
as well.
And
So it's
and
just kind of
is
up to the person sending the money.
right. And is this proof of reserve stuff? I know this is not necessarily the area that you're diving in right now, but is your understanding that proof of reserves and proof of liabilities is like pretty easy to be auditable, let's say? Or is that like experimental, unsure if it can be done? Like people are still trying to figure that out?
I mean, it's
Okay.
very early. I have no idea.
Okay.
Like conceptually, maybe it makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I don't
Cool.
know. I haven't spent we've spent like most of our time on like the user experience, and then
Yeah.
we're spending more and more time on the mint stuff like in the coming weeks. But wanted to get the user part right because if there's no users, then you don't have to worry about mints.
Right. Yeah.
So
So should we take a look at the send side of things?
so yeah, okay. So $3. So send money. Uh, there's three things you can do. You could create a token. You could withdraw this to a Lightning address, or you could withdraw this to an invoice. So if I want to create a token, let's do $1. I just create a token. There's two ways you can
Wait, can
share the
we?
token. You
I'm
could
trying to
copy this
digest what's
token,
going on here. You're
and
creating a token.
yeah. Sorry.
I'm just because I'm like I'm still trying to digest what each of these buttons and things are. I'm like I'm sending. I want to send one. When I put one into
Yep.
that box like you did, I'm saying $1 is implicitly because that's the unit I'm working in, right? Then
Yeah. Hold on.
it's
Let me just.
talking about. Uh,
Okay. So we're back at $3. Oh, sorry.
okay,
I'll go slow.
so we hit send.
Um,
Now when we look at amount
so it's
USD
going to
Lightning
do
address or
different things
invoice,
here, depending on what.
depending on what you paste
Yeah.
in.
So it's going to do different things depending on what I do. Yeah. Maybe like the easiest thing is let's start with if I do this
Mm-hmm.
and I want to send myself $1.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to take a little longer because it's interacting with LN URL, got the fee, got the amount, and then we pay. So what this is doing, so this is like the withdrawal, right? I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
send $1. There was a 1 cent fee from, or slightly different quote from the Strike server coming back, quoting a SAT amount. So it's saying, I want to send $1. We get the SAT equivalent, and then we send it to the mint and say, okay, here is $1.01 tokens. Burn these tokens.
And was the one
Burn
cent
these
difference
tokens.
wasn't a
So
fee? It was just a difference in mapping to how sats the sat number converts.
yeah, how sats convert to dollars. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Um, and so, and the Lightning address thing's a little tricky when it comes to the exchange rate stuff. And this is like too technical, but because there's like handshakes back and forth, different types of validation on the SAT amounts, we're still like kind of working on that piece. The Lightning address stuff like won't always work. Sometimes you'll notice that it fails, and that's the reason why. But we're working on fixing that. So this is the $1.01, so that gets burned by the mint, and then the mint sends the Sats to the address that I told it, which was just my Lightning wallet. And then if I look at my Strike account, I have the way my Strike account works is any passive money coming in comes in as Sats, not as I could convert it to dollars if I wanted. So I have 1,535 Sats in my Strike account.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to, you can set up Strike so it comes in and converts to dollars. So you could just, for people that like really don't want Sats, at least now, they could get a Strike account. They could have money streaming in to their Boardwalk Cash, and they could be withdrawing it to their Strike, and they would get dollars. So they would like never touch Sats the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so now those tokens are burned, and the money is in my Strike account. And I can do the same thing with invoice. The way this is just a Lightning invoice, right? So if I go to Strike or Alby or any Lightning wallet and generate a Lightning invoice, I just copy and paste it in there, and it'll do the same thing. There's just not the handshake back and forth with the non-URL server.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the token. So now, if I wanted to create a dollar token, this is so remember the mint's all dollars. So now there is no stats component, right? I'm just creating a dollar token, which is I have a bunch of tokens that are power of two. All I'm doing is like taking the tokens, adding them up, and these are the ones that add to the power of two, right? So these are like the tokens that are stored on my local browser right now.
Hmm.
I can copy here. So if I copy this link, anyone I give that token to,
I'm not
that's
sure that I
like
can see.
as good as
I'm still
cash.
looking at the UMint. Did you
Oh,
switch the
sorry.
screen to? Okay.
We're back.
Yep. Now I can see this. Okay. Send. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So this is like cash. Think of it as cash. So if you have
Yep.
this token, you have cash. And you can send it to the mint and get the money. Um, so
I
I
can
could
send it
copy this
to the
token. This
mint to get the
token,
money.
one of the,
Like the mint has some other
yeah,
interface that
so
takes a token and converts it to Lightning.
no, any other, you could use any Cashu wallet. Like you could use Cashu.me. You could use, I think Minibits
Oh,
just
so
launched their
that token tells
USD
it
compatibility.
embedded in that token. It tells it which mint
The amount,
that token is part of.
and has the secret. Yeah, and it has all the secrets needed to withdraw Bitcoin.
Oh wow! I thought these tokens
So this is
were
like a bearer
only
token.
scoped to
The other way
like
to
the
put it,
context of a given mint. That's not the case.
a mint. Yes, a given mint. Yeah, a given mint. But the
But
mint
like
could be added to any
the
Cashu wallet.
uh, wait a minute. So maybe it's a different structure than
So
I had in mind.
yeah,
So there's all these mints out there, right? Like people can run their mints. They
this,
they can receive Lightning and then they can issue an eCash that's scoped kind of only to their mint. At least that's my understanding or mental model of this.
yes,
Is it
yeah,
true that the eCash is scoped to
yeah.
that mint? So if I give you an eCash token
It's scoped to the
that
mint. So let me show
it's
you.
scoped to that mint, okay.
Yeah, I can show you. Yeah, let me show you an example. So I just redeemed this. I wanted to just test to make sure this works, but let's do like 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So this token, I can go to cashew.me. So completely unrelated to Boardwalk Cash,
Cashu that means another like
but I
a
can.
an eCash wallet, right?
Yep, there's an eCash wallet that's interoperable with USD tokens. I can paste it in here, and I just got the 50 cents. So it added the mint. So I have a bunch of mints
The
down
mint,
there.
the amount, the
It was
secret
one of
are
the mints
all
on
in
there.
the token.
Yes, secrets necessary to unblind the cache.
Okay.
So it's just like think of it
Hmm.
as like that token or like message has a amount associated with it. It has a mint associated with it, and it's completely bearer. So if you send it to the mint through any wallet, it could be a wallet you run yourself, the mint thinks of that as just cash from its standpoint, and it will, wherever you tell it to send the Bitcoin, it'll send the Bitcoin to. So that's like the
I
really,
see.
really
So
cool part. So when I say like static message or bearer message, like you can send that to anyone, and when they either import it, or I'll show you the link, which I think is cooler in a sec, like they'll get the money in their browser. Like, maybe I'll show you the link because that's like the coolest
and
thing I
it's
think.
totally. I just want to make sure
Uh,
because I think I'm I'm like sort of
yeah,
reframing my understanding of how this stuff works, which is very novice. But you can take an eCash that's in within the Cashu protocol, and you can hand that bearer token to anybody, and they can use a wallet that's Cashu compatible, and they can paste it there, even if they've never heard of your mint, don't know about your mint, don't trust your mint. They can paste it there, and they'll get eCash from the main mint that that wallet is configured for. That's not the
No, they if they don't trust that mint, yeah, if they don't trust that mint, they will have the option to swap it to a mint they do trust, or just withdraw it to Lightning.
right. So if they're using a wallet that that speaks Cashu, is that the right way to think of it? It's like a wallet speaks Cashu. They
Yeah, yeah.
paste a Cashu token. That wallet can then say, will either add this mint as one of the ones that you're willing to handle the eCash from, or will withdraw it, meaning the new mint, or some other mint that that wallet has configured will withdraw it from the mint that we haven't agreed to trust or add, and it will kind of convert it and issue new eCash. It'll hold Lightning, and it will issue an eCash from the mint that that wallet is trusting. Sorry, is that
Yeah,
a
exactly.
mouthful?
That's right. Let me just show you
Okay,
real quick.
that's
I can
actually
just show
much
you how it
cooler
works
than
real quick.
I understood. And I
So,
think your
it's
screen's
good.
not changing much. Are you changing
Yeah, I think
something
it
right
is.
now on your screen?
Yeah. I am, but I'm doing,
Okay, now I
okay.
can
So let me
see
just show you
your
how that
mouse
works really
moving around.
quick. Uh,
By the
so
way, I
this
think maybe
is,
do you have your screen like very small? I think maybe if you stretch it
oh yeah,
taller,
yeah. So I can see
maybe I
you.
would see. Okay,
Is that better?
yeah, I can see because I think maybe something's happening on screen that I was not seeing, or maybe it was like a different window was being featured or something. Okay, so I'm looking at 49 cents
Okay.
in
Yeah, I
Boardwalk
have an,
Cash.
yeah, 49 cents. And this is this mint. So my main mint has 49 cents, stable net mint.
Yeah.
I'm going to create a token for 25, create a quarter. And I'm going to take this token. I'm going to go over to an incognito tab that I just opened.
Okay, so I think I'm
Has
not.
no money in it.
Oh, I am seeing it. You're incognito. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. And then this is
So
connected to a different mint. So
this
this
is a
is the mint I
different mint.
trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, different mint. Copy the token in, and I'll get options. It'll say, you're getting 25 cents in from a mint that you don't trust. Do you want to check out kind of reviews?
View
Like click that
reviews.
link.
Okay.
It
Okay.
sends me here. So I can say okay, like 4 reviews, 5 stars, some of my friends maybe um,
Hmm.
have given good reviews. Maybe I trust it. But if I say, well, actually, I don't really want to trust it. I can, if I do trust it, I can trust the mint, and this will add the mint, and the mint will add here. If I don't trust it, I can just swap it into my main mint. And so now I get 25 cents coming in to my main mint. My main mint is taking that uh, Bitcoin and then issuing 25 cents of eCash tokens back to me. And so now
Right.
I'll have, hopefully this works. I don't really, this mint stuff, the mint I'm using is like a test mint that I
Right.
was running, so it might not work. But it did work. Okay, so we get 25 cents, and this 25 cents is tied to this mint, not the stable net mint. So we just went from
I
25
see.
cents
Yeah.
in one mint to 25 cents in another mint. But to the user, like they still have 25 cents. There was at no point did they like have to think about Sats or Bitcoin.
Oh wow. Yeah, this is crazy. Okay, I didn't get that that was what was happening. So there's those two kind of buttons because I did play with this and felt tripped up by those buttons where it said like switch. What was it? Switch to mint or switch to main? What were the buttons? It's like switch to main
Yes,
or trusting claim or something.
yeah. Yeah, trust and claim. Yeah.
So trust and claim means I don't
So
I don't have this as a trusted mint, but I will trust and claim means I'll add it as a trusted mint.
yeah, so let's just show it again. So copy this token, and I'll go back to my other wallet. Now here's the 25 cents. I don't have that mint
Hmm.
here, but I'll paste in the
So
token.
okay, so let's wait on the screen.
Not
This is the
trusted.
prompt. So this is not
Yeah,
trusted. So I understand that
yeah,
View Reviews launches the review site, so I can sort of hopefully use some
yep.
social, recommendations or something to figure out. Okay, that one I get. Swap to main means take this 10 cents and don't trust whatever mint it happens to be coming from. Just swap it into the main, meaning a mint that I already have trusted as part of this wallet. that means like I
Yeah,
don't trust the outside world do that. So, and then the other one says like I kind of do
exactly.
trust this new mint. So like why would I need to even worry about trusting a new mint? Like why don't I just always swap it to main? Is there some like fee
Um,
benefit or something?
yeah, I mean, you could potentially be paying fees. You could like one uh, future state I could see happening is, let's say you're interacting with a mint that's like run by a company that you're like interacting with a lot. And let's say I wanted to get, they're paying me 10 cents every hour or whatever. And then like once a week I buy something from them. So like I trust
Hmm.
them because I'm doing business with them or something.
Yep.
And it'd be pointless to be using Lightning every time to swap back and forth. I would just trust their mint,
Yep.
and then it's all free. And there's no
I
fees
see.
and
So
there's no
is the
swapping and
mental
it's
model
faster.
that
And
all of these mints have lightning channels established and liquidity established among kind of all the mints? Like if you want to be a player as a mint, you should sort of build a lot of channels and liquidity with all the other mints that are popular. Is that kind of the mental model?
you can, I mean, yeah, or you just run a Lightning wallet that's connected. I mean, you could
Okay.
just be using like a custodial Lightning wallet on the back end. You could be doing it self custody if you want to.
All right.
But then you need to like manage all the channels. But there's no difference between like a Mint wallet and a um, just a normal Lightning wallet.
I'm just trying to make sure I can articulate the difference. Like, why wouldn't I just always swap to main? And then maybe there's some like really deep down, you know, settings thing where I can say like, oh, actually add this new mint because I'm going to start interacting with them a lot. Is that kind of a reasonable usage pattern
Yeah,
to just
it's
say like always swap it to main?
yeah, completely reasonable. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Maybe just from a startup
You kind of need to
perspective
trust
as you're
one. You kind of need to,
building it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You need to trust like one, or else it's not super useful. You could run your own mint. If you just want Bitcoin, then you just be getting Bitcoin, and you have kind of this like dollar balance on top of your own Bitcoin.
right.
Um, but yeah, you could swap if you don't want to trust people.
I see. Yeah, so maybe from a at least I'm just like, as a naive user, I'm looking at this. I almost would rather just be like claim yes, and then like when I want to get into the details, maybe I can like configure it later. Because I think this part sort of tripped me up. I didn't know what I was doing there. Swap to main
Yeah,
seems
like
like
here, if I
the
just
like
yeah, like click this, it'll happen in like a second, right? Because like
right.
there is no Lightning transaction happening. So this is just like faster, and you can do thousands of transactions with eCash, whereas like the Lightning would take a long time.
Right.
Um, and then if I go over here now, so you now have the stable nut mint here. And if I
I
want to get
see.
rid of this 10 cents, if I'm like, ah, crap, I didn't mean to click that, or like I don't trust this anymore, and I just want it here,
Yep.
then you just like swap it. And then this is going to do the Lightning transaction on the back
This
end,
is
and then
lightning
10
from
cents. Now
mint
all
to
the money's
mint.
here.
I see.
Mint to
So
mint,
so
yeah.
okay, so we did a little Jedi mind trick here because we were looking at a wallet that a Boardwalk Cash that had a 0 USD balance, but it already had a mint configured. And I think the use case that you were sort of originally articulating is like just be able to click a link and get something. So would that link include
Yes.
the mint, like the
Yeah,
default
so
for
now let's
this
do,
suggested,
yeah, now let's do that. Yeah,
like
let's
the
do that example
really
now.
fully
So
bootstrapped?
now,
Yeah,
hold on, okay, that's my money. So I'll just do this. Uh, close that out.
these are not the droids you're looking for.
Okay. So back here. Okay, 14 cents. Let's, what do we want to do? Oh yeah, we want to do 10 cents
So we're going to send this
here, and then we
to,
get back here, and now we have a link.
mhm.
So now you're going to send this link. If you sent this token to someone, they would just be like vastly confused, right? They have no idea what to
Yeah,
do with that token. But if you send this link to someone, it's going to look like a link, like just like a URL. It's an ugly URL. So we got to think about how to make it less ugly. And it's long. It can be extremely long, depending on the power of two inside the dollar amount. But
but it
if
is
I now
resolving
go,
through, is it a boardwalkcash.com URL?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
a
you could just do
boardwalkcash.com
like
URL.
a
When I click it,
URL shortener on it or something, right?
yeah, yeah. But then are you custodying cash?
You're custodying cash if you have a URL shortener that maps to the
The
eCash
URL,
token. Okay.
Bitly server
I
has
see.
eCash on it. Yeah. So yeah. So ideally we can just get rid
Okay,
of
I
servers.
see.
But okay, so now this is
This
like a
is the
new person.
fresh.
So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
got this. Yeah. So this is what I think is the much better UI, right? Because this is
Yeah.
why I said like you would never go to boardwalkcash.com. I mean, you would, but if you're a newbie that doesn't know anything about Bitcoin, you probably wouldn't. But if you got this link and you clicked it and someone told you to click this, you get 10 cents or $10. If you click it, this is the first thing you see. And so what we did on the back end here is we added your mint. So you have the mint, and you're getting the 10 cents, and then all you have to do is click claim, and then it's eCash. So it's just like almost instant. So you
Oh,
like
nice.
instantly have
Yeah.
the money. And arguably, we
Wow.
just get rid of that first screen too. And like as soon as you click it, you just have 10 cents right here. So I think that's like
Yep.
the really cool UX for new people.
Yeah.
And just to give an example, like today, I can give an example of like why this is really cool. Today on Twitter, I did like a post. I can show you how I do this. So we did a post from our account that said, like, what eCash feature you're most excited about. Every comment below gets $1 of eCash. And to so then we had like 20 comments or something, and for every person that commented, I could just go in, DM them, create $1 of eCash, create $1 of eCash, so just like we just did, and then I just pasted in that link. And then every single one of those people, all I had to do was click that link, and like in their web browser, they had $1 that they could like send to their Bitcoin wallet. That's gonna be
Wow.
like, I don't know, 20 seconds to like, or 5 seconds each one, but like not very long to create eCash and just send it out. And we got like insane. That's like 10x the comment engagement we've got, and it was super cheap.
Yep.
It was like less than
Yep.
$50 to get a bunch of comments. So I think that's like where this is like really powerful. Is like you could say you're going to send someone $1, and then like literally just send them $1, and I didn't have to be like, Cash App does this too on Twitter sometimes, where it's like drop your cash tag. It's like literally not drop anything. You just
Yep.
do it, and then I can just DM you, whether it's a DM or an email or any form of communication. And so you can imagine like the Prism concept of now you can make it like super powered because you can just be sending. You can come up with like some heuristics around like and some like easy way to like click a button and like send all the eCash out to everyone that did something on
Right.
any platform.
Right. And I'm
So
trying
that's
to
like
imagine kind of the noob use case. So like, let's say I've never heard of Bitcoin or Sats or any of that, and you send me this link. I click it, I get the claim. It's like $1. It looks like I have one USD sitting here. What can I do with that if I don't really understand the rest of the ecosystem? Like, can I cash it out? Can I send it to
yeah.
Coinbase or River or something? Or
So you can send it anywhere Lightning's accepted. Oh yeah, I think I haven't ventured into like attempt the Coinbase Lightning integration yet, but I think you could just send it to Coinbase. You could send it to Cash. I mean, oh no, you can't. Yeah, you could because you could generate. You go into Cash App. If you wanted to like cash out, you just go into Cash App, generate an invoice, paste it in, send it to Cash App, and then sell the Bitcoin if like you want it. If you really wanted dollars,
so
you could
today,
cash out.
Cash
You could
App,
buy a
you
gift
can,
card.
yeah.
Yeah, you can. You can. Well, I don't know. We can. Let's see. Let's send more than 10 cents. Let's see. So here's $1. So I'm going to scan this with Strike. So $1.03. Got $1. And then I'm going to send it. Then I'm going to send it to my Cash App. Coin. Receive Bitcoin. Add amount. Let's do $1. Copy. Lightning address. Come on. An Apple failure. I can't hand this off.
So right now you're
So
sending a
So
dollar and then you're
I'm in my, yeah, so I opened Cash App and I went
uh-huh.
to scan to pay an invoice. Let's see. But I'm trying to copy it and my iPhone is not handing off the invoice. So there's no way I'm typing in.
Right.
But anyway, if the iPhone did work, oh wait, here, how can I do this? I'll just text it to myself. Okay, let's see if this works. There we go. Nope, it didn't work. Okay, didn't think it'd be Apple. That's the thing that didn't work during the demo, but here we are. Yeah, only copy. Okay, but if I did copy that, I pasted that in. Well, I can do it with Albi. So receive.
I'm looking at the send screen. Is that what I should be seeing right now?
I know, yeah. Yeah, just because I
You're
can't share. Albie's an
you're just figuring
extension.
out. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if I just did, let's just do like what you would do for your Cash App is you would go into your Bitcoin thing, hit receive, you'd add the amount that you wanted, you'd just copy it, and usually it would like work with Apple to like copy from your phone to here, and then you like paste it in, and this would
Hmm.
send 98 cents. In this case, it sent 98 cents to my Albie wallet, which is 1,500 sats. But I could have easily sent that to my Cash App, and then I would have had that in my Cash App. So that's
Nice.
like the new user. That's like when I think about
Yeah.
like the coolest thing for the coolest like new user use case is you could just be like, and this is the business use case. I actually think like brands should leverage this, and it's a really, really easy way to like you can open Boardwalk Cash, you deposit Bitcoin if you're a brand, and then you could like go on Twitter and say or Nostr. Nostr like solves all this because like Nostr hasn't been in the protocol, but so it's a whole other discussion. Like definitely go on Nostr and use Nostr, and that's better than Twitter. But and there's
Hmm.
still like millions of people on Twitter. Why we're here, and then you go on Twitter and you can say drop a comment below and get $1, or drop like the best comment, and I'll send you $50. And like all you have to do is go to Boardwalk Cash, create a link, and then DM them, and then they have the money, and that's it. It's like
Hmm.
I think it's a very cool use case.
And do you think like
And then the other use
you
case,
from
yeah,
okay. Yeah.
I was just going to show the other. So there's like two ways to enter Boardwalk Cash. One is like someone sending you a link and you click it, and the other way is via Nostr wallet auth. I don't know if we want to move to like the Nostr side. We can
Yeah.
continue to hang out here and talk about this.
Well, I was
Okay, cool.
maybe my next question may actually touch on the Nostr stuff anyway, but I'm trying to think like the use cases where people I think have these things come up. It does seem like Nostr is like a kind of a great first example because it's not people interacting with money in a way that they already do. Like right, like the buying coffee thing, we already have good Visa or Amex rails to handle that. But like, how do you send a Zap or a tip or pay for some sort of digital thing in Nostr? That seems like it's a pretty frontier way to use money, right? Like the amount and the so is
Yep.
do you think this like will I almost imagine this could be like an ecosystem where people are using Nostr, but like Nostr seems like a good use case for kind of this like Zaps, but a Zap wallet that actually is dollar denominated and helps people sort of
Yeah.
learn
Yeah. I mean, I
about.
think that's like a hurdle. Yeah. I mean, I think like there should be a client that just like shows dollars, not sats in their, um, or at least like you should have a toggle in the client
Yeah.
because I think the sats thing is just people just it. I've like tried to tell so many people like literally I've had like
Right.
hundreds of conversations with businesses and individuals, and what's a sat is like comes up all the time.
Right.
So,
But
and
USD
then
is
it's just like
very
hanging up.
recognizable. People get what it
The
is.
USD is
They
recognizable.
know what it means to
The
hold
other thing I
it.
think why, yeah, exactly. And the other thing I think USD is helpful is the other issue with Sats and like telling people to spend Sats for newbies, right? Like I'm not talking about like Bitcoiners or like people that
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
Bitcoin or separation of money and state and like
Yeah, right.
we both have been doing this for a very long time, and so yeah, we're like fully bought in. But like, how long did it actually take us to get there? Like a lot. And so one of
Yeah.
the interesting things, or one of the like the UX hurdles for like getting people to use Bitcoin payment rails is you spend like 5 years convincing like your friend to go buy Bitcoin, and you're like, buy Bitcoin. Yeah, we're all this inflation, we're putting all this money, and then they're like, oh man, you're right, Bob. Like, how do I get started? You explain them how to get started with everything. It's okay. Like, go buy your Bitcoin. Finally, like you got your friend after like 5 Thanksgivings to like go buy Bitcoin, and then like the next day you're like, oh, by the way, like use that Bitcoin you just bought and like go buy that hat online. Like, go buy a hat. And they're like, wait, what about like the money and state thing? Like, why would I spend it? Like, shouldn't I
Right.
hodl? Like, what's all said? You tell me to go spend it. And so it's like such a disconnect. And I've had so many of these conversations that I know it, like, this is what always happens. And they're like, wait, like, what about all that talk from the last 5 years? Like, why would
Yeah.
I spend my Bitcoin in that hat? It's like so important to hold. And so I think this potentially gets over that like hurdle in a really cool way where it's like you're still using Bitcoin, the payment rails. We're still building to like hyper Bitcoinization where like everybody's using Bitcoin. We're getting more like
Yeah.
Bitcoin QR codes, Bolt 11, Bolt 12 QR codes everywhere to like accept Bitcoin. We're getting more people to send Bitcoin, right? So you're like leaning into the network effect, the payment network effect. But now you have a really easy pitch because like they already know what a dollar is, and you don't have to worry about like telling them they now have to part with their Bitcoin after you just convince them for many years to like hold their Bitcoin. So I think that is like could be that's why I'm like so excited about the stable cash piece and the fact that you do have like this stable cash. And so when it comes to like Nostr clients and zapping, that's I think that's like again a hurdle that like I've run into in conversations like so many times is if I could just tell a Nostr client or tell someone like okay here's um, your balance like load it up with your Strike account and just like let's say you convince them to use Strike and just like send in $10 from your like dollar balance and then you can use those $10 and you can like zap away and you can even have like the money on Nostr go to your Lightning address. So like the way like I do it is you zap dollars and you receive Bitcoin. So you're building a Bitcoin balance and you're sending dollars to people. And I think that's like a way lower hurdle and that's like a way easier pitch. But you need like Nostr clients to not have Sats or at least give the option to
Right.
have dollars. And then you need an integration with the stable cash piece.
Right. I feel like it's become, I mean, these USDT, USDC as stable coins have been around for a very long time, but it feels like the
Yeah.
last 6 months, it's like a fever pitch about everybody so excited about the volumes of everything that's going through these systems. And,
Yeah.
I don't know, do you have much of a sense of, is that mostly trading oriented stuff or more like people, individuals who don't have access to USD finding kind of ways to get access to USD? And if it's the latter, is there a
Yeah.
way for this
I
to
mean,
play a
like,
role?
yeah. So, and again, I'm not like a stable coin expert or I know virtually nothing about some of the stable coins and what they're built on. But like the way I think about it is at a high level, there's $150 billion of stable coins. So like clearly there is some value, whether it's like hedge funds trading in and out of the like different random coins. I don't know. Is it like actual people and like emerge? I think there are like use cases for sure. Like people tweet about them, and I think if they're real, they seem real. Where like people are using it as like a store of stable value. So like conceptually, it makes sense. I don't know if that's $150 billion. The volume
Right.
numbers are all like super inflated because like
But even if it's only 1% of
some of
that, I
these
think it's still interesting to
yeah,
address
it's still
today,
like
right?
there is like clearly a use case. So the numbers are inflated because like there's not fees for some of these. People you just the trading numbers are inflated because you can just trade, and there's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
fees. So
Like
it's
wash
so
trades and
it's
stuff.
easy
Yeah.
to fake, but like there clearly is like some use case, right? The
Right.
difference here, so there is like certainly a use case for like limited volatility, um, which is why there's not many people that like only own Bitcoin, right? Because you need some stable dollar value for some things in life, especially if you're a
Hmm.
business and you have cash flow issues and all that stuff. So definitely, there's definitely a value to stablecoin. How big it is, I think it'll get bigger over time. How this differs from stable coins, and which is why I like your term stable cash, which you maybe didn't realize all these benefits or differences between stable coin. The way I think about it is like the stable coin you can trade, like you can, or for most stable coins, you can like trade them. So if you had like $100 of an Ethereum tether, you could like go trade that on an exchange. Like you wouldn't want to do that with stable cash. Like stable cash, I would think of as like cash. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to post a token. Like the token is like cash. So like if you posted a token, someone would just immediately steal it and spend it.
Grab it. Yep.
So there's no like coin concept, which is why it's like a lot different. Like that's why I think of it as like a message. It's like a message that is bearer that connects you to Bitcoin, and there's no like trading of it. It's just like telling you at some point in the future you can trade, you can like kind of cash me in as like an IOU to like get money to get like Bitcoin back. So it's very
Right.
different than stable coins, but I think the use case is just as like the UX experience is just as useful and arguably like maybe a little more useful because of this like static message thing. Because you can't send, I can't like ping you an Ethereum token or whatever.
Right.
Like the same thing as like I can't like ping you a Bitcoin token. Like there needs to be some sort of um, like computer process. Whereas for eCash, you
Right.
just ping the message.
So in the case of like I think stable coins, like let's say even if stable coins, let's say 99% of it is trading stuff and it's on exchange and it's not really something that you're going to address with this, but the maybe it's 1%. that our stable coin adopters probably would benefit from being able to use stable cash like this, like very simple, and it's these like,
Yeah. So
these
and yeah, maybe talk
links.
about that more. Yeah, so I think there is like an enormous, a huge opportunity, and it will get bigger over time. The key is that the stable cash sits on Bitcoin rails, sits on Lightning rails specifically, and so
Hmm.
you need to have. So this is like that network effect. This is why I got to like lean in on the Bitcoin network effect on the payment side. There's like the Bitcoin network effect on the money side, but there's also the network effect on the payment side, and that like you need Bitcoin Lightning checkouts like everywhere, and like the more Bitcoin Lightning checkouts you have everywhere, the more sense it makes to send your friend in El Salvador $1 of stable cash because he can go to a grocery store and buy his lunch with the stable cash that you sent him, and he never has to touch the volatility of Bitcoin. The
Right.
store owner, maybe the store owner like wants the volatility of Bitcoin and wants some percent Bitcoin. Maybe the store owner is just hedging it on the back end, so he's not taking any Bitcoin volatility either. So potentially you have this like um, path where it's like, okay, Bob sends $1 to El Salvador. The El Salvador friend gets $1 in his browser. He turns around, he scans the QR code at the merchant, and the merchant is hedging on the back end. So you just sent like $1 instantly for free over the Bitcoin rails to buy something in a store in El Salvador, and it like happened instantly for free. So,
Right.
and no one took Bitcoin volatility risk in that like whole path.
And
So that's like
do you,
where like
yeah, do you
leaning
think
into the
that
network
like
effect is really important.
is the remittance use case like maybe an early, big, obvious, useful starting point, or is that sort of well covered, and this is more like
I think it
some other?
No, I think I think, I mean, it's well, I think there's not like a great, there's chicken and the egg problem, right? Because you need the invoices to be there. And if you don't have the invoices there, then it doesn't make sense to send stable dollars because the person that you're, or stable cash because the person that you're sending the cash to can't do anything with it. I mean, they can check out with something, but then they're probably paying some fee to like buy a gift card or something. So I think you need the ability to accept Bitcoin payments, and then it like makes a lot of sense. So it kind of relies on that like network effect still. And if it happens that like the entire country is like on USD Tron and there's like or USDT Tron and there's like Tron QR codes
Mhm.
everywhere, then it like won't work to send them a Bitcoin
Right.
QR code because there's like nowhere they could use it. So this is why I like say that we're like behind and that like the best way to move Bitcoin forward is to like get more Bitcoiners. Like if we had 50 million more Bitcoiners in the US, like we would have way less problems. But
Yeah.
we're like losing because people are using Tron in Argentina and they're not using Bitcoin. And so there's like Tron QR codes, not Bolt 11s. And
Is that
so
right? Is
that's
that common
again,
that like a merchant would have a Tron QR code?
I don't like somehow they're all using Tron stablecoin, so either
Yeah.
QR code or whatever they use.
Is that
I don't know if they
USDC on
use
Tron or
handles or
USDT on Tron or some of
I
either or
think it's
both?
USDT.
I'm
Yeah, I think it's
I'm
USDT
I
still 100. I think
recently
100
learned
billion.
how not interchangeable these things are. I wasn't aware that USDT
Oh
on
yeah,
Tron is
yeah.
very different than USDT on whatever Ethereum or Polygon or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then there will be like USDT on Lightning via Taproot Assets, I think, at some point. So like again, maybe so that makes it like I think that makes it a little more useful, and that like helps. So that will help with the network effect because like that will be interchangeable with Bolt 11s, Bolt 12s invoices. So we just need more Bitcoin invoices and give that same experience, and then like then that helps the network effect, um, and then you can like actually pitch someone on why they should use Bitcoin because right now probably a bunch of people are like researching Tron because like they don't know any better. That was their like entrance into Bitcoin. That was their entrance into
Right.
crypto was like Tron
Right.
and like getting $1 of Tron, and they're probably thinking like this is awesome. Like I have $1 and there's no like risk, and like Tron seems like it
Yeah.
like went up or down, or and I'm saying this not knowing anything about Tron or Ethereum went up and
Hmm.
down, and like maybe this is like the money we've been looking for, and it's like oh god, like these it's like sad, it's like really sad because like oh god, this is like how they're getting in, and now they're like stuck, and it's gonna
Right.
be years before they like figure out that they were wrong, and that they
Right.
should have been using Bitcoin. And if we had a way to get them on Bitcoin first, then we get more Bitcoiners, and then we get more Bitcoiners faster because you're like leveraging this network effect of Bitcoin.
Right. So I would guess, I mean, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I would guess that like there's enough product, work that you're doing here that you're not really focused on like, marketing use cases and stuff like that, but do you imagine that's like where this goes over time, that you will find a few use cases and try to like speak to the people who would be using it for those cases?
Yeah, I think I mean, there are, I think the remittance use case, the two like obvious ones, although one wasn't really obvious until like yesterday, when I thought about it more, which is why we did the tweet today, like just sending people Bitcoin on Twitter, like literally didn't think that was a use case until yesterday. So like, I think this is all like moving really fast, right? And things are changing a
Hmm.
lot, but like the two that I'm like most excited about in this moment are the remittance use case, and then the ability just to like DM people, text people money for doing things. So like the advertising model, I guess you could call it that, or the engagement model is like you reply to this or send this around, and you'll have money in your account kind of instantly. So I think, and that's like very like you can really scale that up because like it's just me like DMing people, but like you could
Right.
programmatically do that at really large scale.
And you imagining that through literally like DMs on Twitter, or you imagine that through like private messages on Nostr, or like,
No, I think I mean, you can probably do it every way people send messages today. So whether that's, I don't know, uh, Gmail or text or,
but are you,
uh,
so maybe I misunderstood, but were you imagining paying people for engagement to help grow an audience around the idea that you're sharing, or
yeah.
was there?
Oh, no, just generally not, I mean, yeah, around the Prism stuff, but also I think businesses would be interested just to get engagement up just generally
Oh, I
by
see.
doing
Yeah.
this.
So it's like a way
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
probably those
I mean, there's no
engagement
way
tricks don't work in like email, for example, right?
sorry, what you broke up for a sec.
Oh, I was just saying, like, I guess those engagement hacks probably like work on Twitter to some extent, but probably don't work so much on email. But I don't know, maybe it would be if you sort of had that embedded in email that helped somebody want to reply or engage with a message because it included money.
Yeah. Yeah. Or any of the reward stuff. Um, right. Like send us your email. You'll be on our list, our mailing list, and like here's $1 for like doing it.
I see. So like payments through like kind of like a small like a micro action online or something could start to be rewarded with
Yeah,
these kinds of
yeah,
things. I see. That's interesting. Yeah. Nobody really does stuff
yeah.
like
Because
that
this is
today.
new. Because
At least I
like
haven't
with
seen.
because I don't think it's possible. You'd have to send them your cash tag, your Venmo tag. You have to like there's like a two-way interaction required. You'd have to send them a
All
lightning
right.
invoice, lightning address, a lightning invoice. Whereas there's like no two-way interaction required. It's like one way, and then like
All right.
it's up to them to get the money.
But I wonder a lot about
So I think that's
how
a
this, like, it feels like there's so many good ideas here, but how do they actually get out into the world? Like, how did Tron end up getting adopted in Argentina? Is it just like some other, blow up or big media story caused people to start to talk about it, or?
I don't know. I don't know. They probably just spent a bunch of money
Hmm.
marketing. They were kind of first mover.
But in this case, like the remittance case seems like a case where like a centralized provider could be responsible for marketing and maybe make, some market making or taking some cut of like, I don't know, remittance, like Western Union or whatever, isn't it 30% or something? It's like very expensive.
Yeah.
So like it's like if you were to just say like, here's, 5% remittance instead of 30% or whatever, is there like enough additional value to be able to use toward marketing within kind of the remittance use case? Or
Yeah,
maybe it's really
I think
competitive already.
so.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I haven't spent enough time thinking about it.
Because I know a lot of people around the world want to hold dollars, just because they
Yep.
don't have access to them and they want to hold them because it's like, as much as we always like talk about US dollar is trash, like, a lot of people, it's like better than like local currencies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
for sure. I mean, like the example would be like in the emerging markets where like if you're living literally remittance to remittance, which is like tens of millions of people, maybe hundreds of millions of
yeah,
people, like you can't send someone Bitcoin and have it go down from 66 to 60. For us, we're like, oh, buy. And then they like can't buy their groceries. Right. So
right,
like, um, prevents that. Especially like
right,
because if they know they have to spend $10 on groceries every 2 days and they get the $10 from their son or daughter, they can't take volatility risk. They just like want the money and they want it cheaper. And I think this allows them to get the money, assuming there's a grocery store that accepts Bitcoin payments near them. This allows them to get the money with no fees,
right,
period.
right. Yeah, I had heard before. I have a friend who grew up in Venezuela, and he was telling me how if you can get US dollars, that's like a very good thing. And so you'll try to like even pay way different than sort of the market exchange rate. Is it bolivars or I forget what they exchange with, but they'll pay way off of like what would be considered a fair exchange rate because they just really want to get those dollars. And I wonder if like if there's some place that has so much, such a desperate need to hold dollars, if that kind of can be, if there's like attractive marketing messages that would land well with a population that sort of is already oriented toward wanting to hold dollars, if that's something, some way to take all these
Yeah,
new
yeah,
technology pieces and like really simplify that process for people.
yeah. And I think eCash is the potentially the best medium to do it technically because like the two ways I've seen it done are you have a wallet, again, like telling someone to download a wallet and like upload their ID. Like not only is it like a hard technical problem for, people, um, but it takes like time. It's just like a non-starter. And so there's like a huge drop off of doing that. And then the second one would be like one of these like, I don't know, Ethereum wallets or Coinbase wallet. But even like if you've ever opened up, I mean, you showed me, yeah, if you've ever opened up those wallets, like any normal person would just be like so confused after the first like 3 seconds that, um, yeah, they would never go back into that app. So this
I
like
thought I
makes it
kind of knew how this
really
stuff worked,
clean.
and I did not know how it worked. Like,
No,
it's
yeah,
not that
it's
open if you
it's
have to like know which base layer you're using, like, and they're all the
yeah,
base
and then
layers
if
are
you have
going
to
to
use
compete
like
against each other.
yeah, you have to
Mhm.
like scan. I don't even know what any of the Ethereum L2s are, but like you have to like figure out the QR code that you need to like get to show up to then like scan something with you Ethereum. It takes like a minute, but then if you do like layer three or whatever they call layer two, then you gotta like figure out like it's just a non-starter for everybody. So I think like that's the goal with this with like Boardwalk Cash is just like you click a button, you have the money, scan a QR code,
Mhm.
which we're gonna launch probably tomorrow. Right now you can't scan a QR code in Boardwalk Cash, but we'll have it probably live tomorrow. And like the whole thing is just like it just works and it works like instantly because it's Lightning on the back end. Um,
Mhm.
so stable cash that is interoperable with Lightning.
Yeah.
I did want to show the other. I don't know how much time you have,
Yeah.
but
I'm
I did
fine.
want
Yeah.
to show the Discord thing too. I think the so like the one
Oh
way is
yeah.
you send someone a link. Yeah, like all the Nostr Wallet Connect and all the app stuff, I think is really interesting too. So maybe I'll show you that real
Actually,
quick.
yeah. I like the Discord thing. I'll just share because I think some of the stuff like with the Nostr having your wallet connected to a Nostr client and being following enough people or sort of getting into the Nostr ecosystem is a little bit of like a hurdle like that new people have to get over. You're only going to really find certain type of content there. It's not as broad as something like Twitter. But I think in the context of Discord, there's tons and tons of usage, tons of people already plugged in, and the fact that you can kind of meet
Yep.
people where they are, where they're already gathered with the people they want to do things with, and if you can just sort of like enable a USD transaction or USD stable cash transaction, that seems like maybe one of the best kind of marketing zones that they can imagine. So I think it's a very
Yeah,
exciting
and that's like the biggest
concept. Just
feedback.
teeing it up, yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest pieces of feedback we heard is like, this is great, but like I can't launch this into my server because I can't explain Sats to everybody. Like that would be too confusing. So uh, so that was a little bit of the impetus too. So here, let me grab my Discord.
Have you been talking? So I've joined your Discord and we've used the tool there. Have you talked to any other people who moderate Discords
I mean,
about kind of how they
the
might use
Bitcoin
them?
ones that, yeah, the Bitcoin ones that we work closely with. So there's like three or four have the Zapbot in there. But now that it's dollars, and we got to make some changes. Like I want to make it you're zapping dollars. It's still Sats, so there's still like some work we got to do around the app. It opens up like it opens up zapping to like everybody, not just Bitcoiners,
Right.
which is
Do you
cool.
imagine that within like a Discord context, it's more likely that like the admin would be sort of running maybe like engagement campaigns or something where they would be paying people who are sort of community members on a Discord, or do you think it's more likely that like community members are paying admins as like a thank you for your service type thing?
I think it would be getting engagement from the Discord server. So like getting people to, and there's a lot of like like ways you could incentivize this. You could say, you could look at like active users or most comments or that kind of stuff, or you can just reward like good content if you're creating content. Like one of the really cool things I think could be around some of the AI stuff, Midjourney, which is like embedded into Discord. Like imagine if you could, and it's user created, which is the cool thing about Midjourney. They're like creating content. The user creates the content that everyone else can see, and then you could allow that user to get zapped, and you could take a cut. And then you could pay the user too to like create good content. So like
Mm.
whoever's creating the best content that's getting the most engagement that other people are
Hmm.
leveraging, like Midjourney could be incentivizing and rewarding them all via Discord.
Right.
So I think that's like a cool use case is like companies that want to incentivize their users that are getting revenue from other ways, like from engagement and pushing that back in to get better engagement.
Well,
So
somebody on the chat
here, let
was
me,
asking for the Discord link, so I'll do that while
oh
you're.
yeah.
I assume that's the
Yeah. If
Boardwalk
you go to,
Cash Discord link.
no, you got to go to makeprisms.com and then it's at the bottom.
Okay. Make
If you just copy that Discord
prisms down.
icon.
Yeah, I'll grab it while you're doing your thing.
Okay. So, oh, my thing's done already.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully you can, let's see. This might not like show up because it's so low on here.
Never touch Bitcoin.
Oh, there we go. So you might have to like click the screen thing so you can see down here.
Hmm.
But let me go. So first I'll go, hold on, this is a lot of, okay. So first let me show this. So this is my Boardwalk Cash and we're just going to like nuke it, start over. Okay. So I don't have anything here, right? So now let's go back to Discord. Um, so how do we get your how do we get, we have the Zapbot in here. So the Zapbot, you can go to
Hmm.
makethrooms.com and you can add the Zapbot to your Discord channel. So we have the Zapbot on our channel. So we have a bunch of commands we can use. So if you've integrated Nostr Wallet Connect or Nostr Wallet Auth, right now I think Discord is potentially the only application that's integrated Nostr Wallet Auth, but I'll show you how it works and it's really cool. So hopefully more people will integrate it.
Is it
Um,
Nostr
you
Wallet
can
op?
auth, like
Oh, op.
authentication.
Okay. Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll show you what the difference is between this and Nostr Wallet Connect. They're the same. Nostr Wallet authentication is just kind of a layer on top. So you connect. And so we have three wallets we can connect to on Discord. We can connect to Mutiny, Boardwalk Cash, Alby, or we can connect manually using Nostr Wallet Connect. So if I click Boardwalk Cash here, and the reason we can use Mutiny also has Nostr Wallet auth enabled. Alby doesn't, but we built this like hack that actually makes it work. So if you click any of these three, it'll be one click and it works. If you click Boardwalk Cash, and then I open this in my browser, and I go back to Boardwalk Cash, uh, share this screen now. So it opens this. So I'm a new user.
Hmm.
Click this, add a mint, and then it'll say connected to Zapbot. So we could just automatically put it here, or we could give a way for like if you're a Discord server owner and you're running your own mint, we can just like kind of pass that through as well. So there's like definitely some more we can
Where
do
it's just
here.
kind of you
But you're now,
click connect and then you just see it. You see your
yeah,
connection
like you
right
just see
there.
your
Yeah.
wallet and your balance. So there's
Hmm.
definitely some stuff we can do there. But now if I go back to Discord, but that was pretty easy. Like one click,
Yeah.
you click through a
Yeah.
couple of the disclaimers. I want you to do that once, you don't have to do it again. And then you go back to Discord. So now Discord says connection is complete, sending and receiving is enabled, gives you a lightning address. So there's my lightning address. So if I get zaps on Discord, they come directly to my Boardwalk Cash wallet, and then I can send any money. So if I wanted to send, let me see, I don't have any money in here, but let's add $1 to this wallet.
So how are you? You're sending from where? You're sending from Boardwalk Cash on your phone or Strike or something?
Yeah, I'm sending it from Boardwalk. I just had to reload my wallet because I nuked my balance. But so now I have, uh, sorry, there's a lot of like screen back and forth here.
Hmm.
So now I have $1 in my Boardwalk Cash. If I go here, look at connections. Oh, uh, should have the Zapbot here. But let's see if this works. This might not work. Do I have this open somewhere else? Anyway, so you have $1 here. Now if I go back to Discord and I'm gonna like zap somebody and you can just watch what happens on the wallet, is I'm gonna send Damien here a zap, which is 21 cents, so or 21 sats, so it'll just be 1 cent. Or I guess I do 200, and I think my default's 221. So I just sent him 14 cents. And he like instantly got that in his wallet. So I just like I never like came to Boardwalk Cash. It has to be open because it is sitting on the browser. But in Discord, I can
Hmm.
now be just like zapping people money, and it's coming out of my Boardwalk Cash. And if someone was to like zap me, the money just goes into Boardwalk Cash all via Discord. So you like never have to be interacting with your wallet. You're just like on your application and sending money and receiving money back and forth using commands. In this case, I just did a here. I'll show you this way now.
You did a command in the Discord. You did like a
Yeah, in the
flash
Discord. So
zap.
I did just like a zap emoji.
Oh,
So
oh,
I don't
nice.
know if
Okay,
this guy
so
has a
you're
lightning address, but
you're
yeah, so I'm
building
just like
like a
zapping
zap
people here,
emoji.
and there's other commands too, like the history command. So this guy doesn't have a lightning address, that didn't work. But like Damien, I paid.
Hmm.
Um, do some more testing there, so you can see the history that's connected to the wallet as well.
Right.
I think he is.
And what was the thing you mentioned that you have to have the website open at the time you're doing that Zap payment?
You need to have Boardwalk Cache open in the browser. Yeah, it has to be open
Oh,
somewhere, whether it's in your browser or maybe you can host it on different, because like the eCash token's like sitting in your storage in your browser.
oh, okay. Right. Okay. The Mint
It's like
issued
not
the
it's like
tokens.
non-custodial, right? It's like the mint doesn't know anything about that token that's sitting in your browser
Right.
until you like unblind it, which is like you hit that send button and you send it back to the mint. The mint, if you like delete that token, like the mint never knows it, never knew it existed. It's like completely blind to
Right.
the token sitting on your browser.
And it doesn't know who that corresponds to, right? That's part of the privacy of a Mint.
Yeah, it doesn't no, I mean at any reasonable number of users it wouldn't know. If I was the only one using the mint, then it would
Right.
know. But yeah, once you get to like
Do, do
probably 20
Mints
users,
do Mints have a sense of like I guess not identities, but do they have the ability to say like I will issue you eCash and I won't issue you eCash? Or just anybody who sends Lightning in can
so it's
get
like kind of still like, I mean, conceptually you could always do that, right? Like you could always figure out a way to just put up blockers. Um, so yeah, I guess conceptually there's a way you could figure it out, but it's hard to, or there's a way you could do that, but um, for certain things it's not possible. So like it's not possible to know what user sent what tokens at what time. So there's like, and this is go watch like a talk Callie gave or something. I'm just like regurgitating what I hear. I don't know how this works technically at all, but that's like my takeaway from watching some of this stuff is like there's certain aspects of privacy that exist at certain scale. There are ways you can like add blockers for certain things, but because of the way the tokens are issued, it's hard once you are issued tokens, it's hard to know which tokens are connected to which users once there's like more than like 20 or 30 users.
right. And there's no way if you did blow away your tokens, there's no way to go back to the Mint and sort of prove that you are who you say you are or something for them to like reissue for
No,
you.
no. I mean, the mint would never know. It wouldn't know that it gave
Right.
you that token because the token it gave you was blind. It was blind to knowing.
Right.
Um, but it could say like, yeah, like when you initially mint the tokens, it could just not. It could like say you have to, do something in order for me to like respond to this request that the wallet's making. Um,
Do something meaning kind of like a captcha or something?
yeah, or like anything. Although, again, this is like highly conceptual. I have no idea how it actually
Right,
works
right.
in practice.
Do you have a mental model right now for how you think the the mint ecosystem may evolve? Like I was talking to a friend the other day and we are trying to figure out would it be likely that say a relay operator in Nostr would be a likely operator of a mint, or is that they're just like two functionally
Yeah.
different?
So, I mean, this is the whole the key chat stuff, which is like kind of mind blowing. You've been like going back
Yeah,
and forth with them on Nostr and following that,
yeah,
like the stamp thing, which is like the coolest thing. That's like one of the mental models I'm excited about because it doesn't exist in the real, in like the traditional world. It's like impossible to do the stuff that key chat, or they were like Keymail or like kind of any of that stuff
yeah.
is impossible in the traditional sense with money. Um, and so in that sense, it would be uh, a relay operator. Like the way you could do it is a relay operator could run a mint, but not in like my view is like there's a spectrum of mints. Just to maybe step back. There's a spectrum of mints. There's like a mint that you can do everything, and there's mints that do very specific stuff that you wouldn't want to do everything, and the mint wouldn't want to do everything either. So there's like that spectrum, and so on the one end, like the mint that does everything, that's great. Like they'll have those mints. Maybe like El Salvador should run their own mint, which I think they should,
When you say
because they have a
does
ton of
everything, mean
Bitcoin.
supports all of the
Support,
various features of how people might want to use it of a
yeah, all
mint.
the features, all the nuts, it just supports like everything. It's like an everything mint.
Hmm.
You don't have to support all the nuts and features if you don't want, but it just does like everything. And then on the other end, there's like mints that the user just wants to leverage eCash, which is like this really cool thing that allows like static messages, static like tokens, bearer tokens to be sent. And so the one example there is the KeyChat example, which is this relay um, that will like store a message or do something if you send it eCash. And the way that I can imagine that working is you could subscribe via Nostr Wallet. This is like very out there, but I think it would be
Right.
cool. So, and this is combining Nostr Wallet Connect and eCash, but like you would subscribe to a relay via uh, Nostr Wallet Connect. So you would say like, okay, this is the relay I want to use every like first of the month. Send $10 of Lightning to that relay, and the relay would pass you back eCash. So the only thing you can spend that eCash on is that relay. It's like locked. That
Mm,
eCash is
I
like
see.
not redeemable for any
Right.
Bitcoin. The only person that can redeem that eCash is the relay operator. And so you're
It's like
using
a
it more
gift
as like
card.
this, like a gift card. It's a gift card, but it's like way more valuable than a gift card because if that like there would be no way at any scale for you to be sending like hundreds of messages to that relay and having them like process lightning invoices. Like you couldn't send 1 cent
Right.
or 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent, 1 cent. Like it just like wouldn't scale at all. But you could send once a month, get $10 or whatever, 10,000 sats of eCash. And then every time you stamp a message, you just stamp some of that eCash and send it back to the relay. And then they can check in like a second that it's a message that they know and they just accept the eCash. So I think that's like a cool mental model as well. And maybe that eCash is like
Right.
tradable and swappable. Like maybe you can, like if you don't use it all, there's like some intermediaries that exist that like, you can give it to and then they can leverage that or so you can see that like market
Hmm.
evolving is now you have these like relays or that these relays that can process messages at a ton of scale with every message being stamped with eCash.
Hmm.
So I think that's like a
And
cool example. Again, kind of out there,
in
but
this,
like it combines Nostr Wallet Connect and eCash together.
right. But that kind of that style of usage, I think is certainly believable. But in my sort of kind of mental model right now, a relay could accept eCash without being the mint that issues the eCash, right?
Yeah.
It could just be like somebody else. So do you think there's a reason
Yep.
that
They
it would
could. It
be
could just be
likely that
like
they would converge more? Or
yeah, because then they I mean if they didn't want to trust anybody and they wanted Bitcoin, then the relay would just use Bitcoin. If
I
there was
see.
like a El Salvador mint, if there was like an El Salvador mint and
Hmm.
El Salvador was like, we're gonna issue $200 million of
I
eCash
see.
tokens and we have like $400 million of Bitcoin. So like that feels pretty comfortable. I feel like I'd trust the El Salvador mint um,
Right.
to issue eCash. Then maybe, yeah, then like I would just trust that mint and then I wouldn't have to run my own mint. But if I didn't want to trust their mint, then I would just, and I wanted Bitcoin, then I would just run my own mint.
Right. Because I was kind of
Yeah.
running from a different, I guess maybe a different orientation on this, which is um, when I saw the key chat stuff, the thing that grabbed me is that you can have these like messages that carry their own stamp. You know, they pay
Yeah.
their own way. And I think KeyChat appears to be doing this in like mostly a private messaging context, which like I get that's like an important use case. And there's other I think complexities, so I'm curious to see how that actually evolves. But outside of KeyChat, that idea seems more broad than just the private messaging use case. But it also seems
Yeah.
like distant. Whatever I think I published 15 relays or so today, and it felt like we went through this era of like relays kind of would get stood up and then people did like paid relays and then some of them got shut down just because I think the people operating them were not able to make the the business work. Like
Yeah.
it didn't sustain itself. It
Yeah.
was like money losing. But I wonder if there's a way to make like instead of having a subscription relationship with a relay, you can have like an eCash payment relationship, not relationship even, just like you push you push eCash with the messages, and then they sort of commit to doing whatever they do for the price point. And so maybe every time I
Yeah.
publish a Nostr message, I'm sending 15 sats, one each to the 15 relays, dollar denominated or sat denominated, but I'm sending to each of the 15 relays who I've asked to continue carrying my message. Um, and
Yep.
in that
Yeah, I
case,
think
it
that's
feels like
definitely a model too. Yeah.
I was going to say, in
Yeah,
that
I think
case, it
that's
sounds
definitely
like
a
we
model
need
too. I
a
just,
eCash that's not necessarily coupled to one of the relays, but that's
yeah.
more
Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be neutral. Maybe one of those relays everybody chooses to trust. Maybe Damas or something is running an eCash mint that everybody else says, oh, that's
Yeah,
one of the
that's
good
the
ones.
thing. Yeah, you need to do that. There has to be something you trust. Yeah.
Right.
So that's where it's like more confusing to me how that market evolved. The other kind of thought around the mint side is that so there's businesses that can run mints that are like on one end of the spectrum, like just they do very like just use one very specific functionality of eCash. They like just want to use the fact that the messages you send back and forth are cheaper than using Lightning, right? It's like the only use case they're using. So that's great. And then there's like the question of who's running those mints, kind of like on the other end of the axis. And there's like maybe Tether and El Salvador. But then like me and you, like, is there this world where the user, the individual user, is just running like a private mint, and like the only, and this is again on the spectrum, but the only person I'm sending like money to like one person, and it's like my friend in El Salvador that I'm
Hmm.
trying to like orange pill, and he doesn't, and then he doesn't want to hold Bitcoin, so I just like run my own mint and I send him like $10 of stable sats, stable cash, and that's stabilized by the sats in my wallet. And like he's like my only customer, and that's like a very specific use case. But now my buddy is in El Salvador, like scanning Bolt 11 invoices with stable cash that happens to be backed by me, and he's the
Hmm.
only one. But like, hey, that's like an awesome use case. You're like slowly orange pilling your friend as to like why Bitcoin payments are so important, and you don't have to like he doesn't have to deal with volatility. Like you just take it on because like you want Bitcoin volatility. So
Right.
that's the other like mint thing, and when I say like we're working on like mint tools, like that's like kind of how I'm thinking about it. Is like how do we make it really easy for there to be just like thousands of mints for like individuals to just run themselves completely like on their own, like no
And do you
third
think it
party.
would
So I
be
think a lot
because
of
of
people
that,
aren't thinking about that.
like, right, because of that kind of stabilization function of a mint, and there's like risk and maybe upside there. Is that like, is that a natural business model for mints to sort of use?
I mean, it's a market. So, I mean, I think of it as like a marketplace. You have a marketplace for people that want Bitcoin, and there's people that want Bitcoin, and there's people that don't want Bitcoin. So, like, there should be a marketplace that emerges, and like one like business around that is like just a mint that's taking on Bitcoin risk and issuing stable dollars. Like, do we really want like a mint that's like has like billions of dollars of Bitcoin risk issuing like billions of dollars of dollars? Like, I know, probably not. Like that always ends
FTX all over
poorly, but like
again.
maybe, yeah, exactly. I mean, that
Right.
like probably doesn't end well. But that's why it's like it's like in the hands of the user to kind of make their choice around that.
Right.
And I think like, and maybe it should, like maybe El Salvador should just like, you know, be the eCash, like largest eCash issuer, and they should be bigger than Tether, and their country can do amazing things, right? And they could probably figure it out. But I think the more exciting, we kind of have that, like we have that with like Tether, and I think the more exciting thing is like allowing uh, individual users, like individual people, to run their own. And it's kind of like a misnomer to say like run your own mint. A lot of people are stuck in this like mint mindset. Mint's just like a way to create like static, like a static message on top of a Bitcoin wallet is like how I think about it. And like, so I have a Bitcoin
Hmm.
wallet. So like, why can't I create my own message to like send to somebody,
Right.
send to my friends? So that's like a completely different mental model than a lot of people are thinking. But I think it's one that opens up like way more cool UX and user use cases. So that's like more what we're focused on, more like what I'm excited about.
And how do you think about, yeah,
Yeah.
one of the things, and I know we're sort of over time already, so I want to keep you if you've got, I think you have an appointment
Okay.
in 6 minutes, if I recall correctly.
My daughter, yeah, my daughter wakes up right around now, but she's asleep still. She went to bed late,
Okay.
so I'm good for a couple more
Okay.
minutes.
Cool. But I was, one thing I wanted to ask, because I think a lot of people, I think a lot of people in the ecosystem are naturally oriented towards open source software, and I think that's great, and I think that's something that deserves to be elevated. But I think there's also, I think, commercial opportunities, somewhere around these. And I
Yeah.
think, there's nothing wrong with those. Like, I think those are great. Those actually can help move it forward. They can create, value to market and stuff. So I'm wondering, like, just to help kind of maybe somebody who's new to thinking about this, get a better sense. Is this kind of thing meant to be purely open source, or there's some open source components, there may be some more commercial kind of closed source or kind of commercial operational stuff that you imagine you could take on, and you don't have to reveal all of your
Yeah.
like your secret business plans, but I'm just curious sort of when speaking if speaking to somebody who's kind of fresh at thinking about this sort of, how do you think about the balance between what parts are protocol and open source, what parts might be kind of commercial opportunities in the
Yeah.
future?
Yeah. So like super high level, the way I think about it is, or like maybe to take a step back, is like Bitcoin payments generally are extremely, extremely, extremely early. Like, like not even day zero. There's like $100 trillion of like payments that happen every year in the world. And like Bitcoin is like Bitcoin over Lightning is like, you know, I don't even know what the number is, 0.00001% of those payments. Um, and so how do we like get there fast is we leverage like the network effect of everybody that wants Bitcoin to succeed. Like we all want Bitcoin to succeed because we want the price of Bitcoin to go up because we probably all have some Bitcoin. And so like just that alone is like how I think about the mental model. Like if Bitcoin payments ends up being $10 trillion or 100 trillion or even 1 trillion or maybe 100 trillion in 100 years, the price is very, very high. And so we all like won, right? So that's like the general framework I approach things to. So like, how do we get there fast? How do we get there like faster?
Hmm.
And I think open source is like one of the important keys and why how Bitcoin got here so fast to begin with and how like Cashu is here so quickly to begin with is like the open source component of it. And so that's like my like high level framework to think about it. And that being said, if like Bitcoin ends up being $10 trillion of payments out of 100, or like there's going to be a million ways to like not only will Bitcoin be $1 million a coin and we'll all be happy and celebrate. There would have been like hundreds of millions of dollars of value created in other ways, and those other ways are yet to be seen. At least I don't see them. And
Hmm.
so the way that I think about it is we're just like, I want to like lean on open source, make sure we're like all working at this as fast as we can. It's like why Bitcoin wins. That's why like Visa can't compete because there's 10,000 developers potentially working on Bitcoin stuff, and like 2,000 at Visa or whatever the number is. Boardwalk Cash is open source. You could just go to boardwalkcash.com and click on the link at the bottom. Bitcoinmints.com is open source. We plan on like open sourcing as as long as we feel like it's a good product, and people are using it, we want to open source it. And then at some point might make sense to have something that's not open source. If we think there's like a commercial opportunity, or like there's some competitive dynamic, or like there's some other reason to not do something open source. But I don't know what that is. Like, it's not obvious what that is today. So that's kind of how I think about it, is like, we're so early. It's like detrimental to be building things closed source, because we're like leveraging this like network effect of people building on Bitcoin and Nostr that's extremely valuable.
Right.
But there will be opportunities to make money.
Makes sense. Yeah. What I feel like there's something, all of that stuff sounds, very consistent with my kind of understanding and expectation. I wonder if there are, if we could collectively find things that could be business opportunities, they can often fund the near-term kind of marketing needs of getting the word out faster.
That's the big. Yeah, exactly. That's
like the big commercial. It's almost like just near-term being able to, have platforms that can speak to the mass use case, about what, why this is better, which is harder to do from a kind of open source perspective.
Yeah, and like more bluntly, like if there's not opportunities to make money, then it's probably not, stuff isn't like going to work as fast as it could, right? If you could make $100 million tomorrow building things on Nostr and Bitcoin, there would be like no one working on like Ethereum stuff or Solana or AI stuff, right? They would just be like figuring out how to build stuff on Bitcoin. So there's like a huge benefit to actually showing there's an ability to make money, and then you can use that to like market and grow. So that it's unclear to like what that's what I'm thinking about every day, is like, what is that opportunity, and like how do we capitalize on it, and like how do we use that to fund more growth? Because that's like the flywheel is like, if there was a million people using like Boardwalk Cash in some way, like we'd figure out how to make money to like, even just, we have a premium Boardwalk Cash account, boom, we make money, and now we can just like spend a bunch of money on marketing. But we gotta I'd rather optimize on getting like 10,000 people using Boardwalk Cash every day first, and then build in experiences to make money. And then the last thing I would say is, I think the other cool thing about eCash and like the stamp thing is, it potentially, there's like, people have always been trying to crack the open source, like how does open source make money? And like potentially there's like some way where like you can use that stamp concept. So like if code's being used, you can actually like monetize the code in a way, and which is impossible to do if there's like some handshake involved, but like maybe not impossible if there's a stamp involved. So I think that's like another cool thing. It's like, could there be some way you actually monetize open source as it gets used more?
Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool that there's these new kinds of models that come out. I also wonder if there are things that have like, oftentimes a good place to look is, what are things that have been tried but have failed for one reason or another, but this new kind of, this change in how things are structured enable you to sort of revisit old models with sort of new technology or new primitives. And like, if you look at like, I guess in the exchanges are businesses, and like, regulated fiat rails, on ramps, off ramps, like that, those are, ways to make money, commercial opportunities, which then, people buy Super Bowl ads off of that, right? So like, that's one characteristic, but like, is there something in a payments business, like the way an existing payments business kind of works or distributes or enables people, that is not an exchange business necessarily, but there's parallels, but it could capture enough that it could be that kind of marketing conduit. I don't know. I haven't thought enough about.
Yeah, actually, I think like almost like marketing. The thing that sucked with payments businesses is they're like super low margin by like necessity, right? Or they're super low fee, right? So you need for payments business to work, you need like a really, really like a ton of payments. So that's why like I think the like monetization might be more, and exchanges are great models because like you can charge 5% and something that's like has 10% volatility daily and no one even notices. And so I actually think it might like places where more money is made will be from like this marketing idea, like the using the payments for like businesses, like new businesses or even current businesses that adopt the payments piece as like a better or more effective marketing. And like marketing is a great business because you can charge like 20% if you want, or some 30%, because you're growing people's customer bases.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's where I think that's what gets me excited about like Nostr Wallet Connect or eCash as like a way to grow a company's user base. And then like there's a ton of ways to make money in marketing. Like that's how every internet company in the world makes money.
Yeah.
90 whatever
Indeed.
5% of their money. So yeah.
Cool. Well, this is great. I'm glad we got a chance to play with Boardwalk Cash, and just generally talking about eCash. I think the more that we talk about it, the better. Sort of, I think already my mental models are sort of improved by having sort of been through these use cases and talked to you about it. Is there anything else from kind of the work you're doing, or just the broader ecosystem that we should be talking about or looking at?
I think just yeah, getting your now that you've spent 2 hours more thinking about it, getting feedback. Like we're really like trying to design this for someone that has like no sense of what Bitcoin is, what Nostr is. We want this to be like the first point of entry for someone into like crypto, any of that, because that's like the only way. If you think about like how do we grow Bitcoiners? We've already like hit all the cycles in the last like 10 years. Like the kind of the way I think about it, I'm curious how you think about it, is like we had like ICOs and like first we had Bitcoin, right? That's how like I got in, is like there's Bitcoin and there's like Mt. Gox and you lost your money and you're like, ah, crap, I'm out of here. And then like ICOs came and then you're like, oh wait, maybe this is interesting. And then you're like, wait, but then the Bitcoin thing, and then you learn more about Bitcoin, but like you still won't maybe grasp it. And then like, and then you do all of a sudden like 5 years later, and then you like get Bitcoin, and it took 5 years, and it took like a couple of these waves of like getting you involved. And then we had like NFTs in like 2019, 2020, and like that was the next big thing.
Hmm.
And then we had like kind of NFT, whatever they call them now, like meme stocks or whatever.
Meme
Um,
coins.
and like every time it's like less, right? So like it was like big and then smaller, smaller, and now we're like smallest, and like NFTs on Bitcoin. That was like how long that lasts, like 2 weeks, because like it played
Right.
out, right? It already happened. There's no like new users to go after. And so I think like the next big thing is payment. There's like kind of my mental model is there's like 40 million Americans that have like 15, 20% of Americans that have ever like bought an individual stock. At least like maybe Robinhood increased that. But like up until a few years ago, there was only like a very small fraction of the US that had ever bought like a stock. Right? They just like, because it's confusing, and like they have advisors that like buy stocks for them, or they just buy the S&P. So if you only have like 40 or 50 million people that have like ever bought a stock, like how many of those people are going to buy like an NFT? Like a very small fraction. How many of those people are going to buy,
Right.
big? Probably more, but like probably less than 50 million people. Like how many of those people made a Visa payment today? Like 300 million, and like tomorrow 300 million, and like the next day
Right.
300 million. So like every single one of those people made a payment. And so that's what I think of as like we kind of got to like that. We got to all like, the people that are risk takers and like were slinging like Apple stock like back in
Right.
like the 90s, and now we're like that there's no people left that want
Right.
to do that, but there are still a ton of people that use payment. That's like kind of my mental model, and like that's what I'm excited about. But like to go after those people, you can't ever mention like confusing topics. It has to be super simple and really easy and like one click, and they have to see a benefit versus like a traditional payment. So that's kind of what we're building for. So any feedback, like I actually want to, this like post I did this morning around, like I'll give you $1. It was like so helpful because like you could see what
That's cool.
everyone, I had like 25 comments or something, and you can like see what everyone is thinking about. And I only did it for like an hour, but like I kind of just want to like post and say, everybody like send this link to your grandmom, and like send me your feedback in here, and I'll like send you $1. Just like
Right.
get feedback from people that don't think about Bitcoin all the time and every day. And then we want to optimize for like that. Um,
Right.
so yeah, so your feedback too is like as you're
Yeah.
going through this more is like helpful in people you're talking to, and so I think
Yeah.
that's how we get to another. I think we only need like 20 million, 10 million, 20 million more Bitcoiners in the US, and then like so many other problems disappear.
Right. Yeah.
Just how do we get
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. My kind of high level feedback, and we can certainly follow up more kind of offline in the next couple of days, or online, but not not here. But sort of my high level feedback is I think if there are, I mean, the stuff you built looks great. It feels super simple and easy, and it feels super professional. It doesn't feel like janky open source software that, sometimes V1 is a little tough to use, but it actually feels like a professional product. I think the way, in my mind, the way to sort of win with this is I don't think that like the payment systems, like the 50 million, what was it, 50 million payments are made every day, or 50 million people make payments in the US.
300, like every single person makes a payment every day,
everybody
right?
makes
Multiple
payments.
a day. Yeah.
Right. But I think
Right.
I would guess like none of those will be replaced by Bitcoin payments early. I think the
Right.
things
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
that Bitcoin payments will be used for are things that don't even exist yet. So
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like always interested in like, okay, like this Discord thing feels like a very navigable path of like people, don't pay each other in Discord today for the most part. And this is like an easy way for people to pay each other in Discord. So that seems like one that could be kind of like it starts to feel like it could be a good use case. But I think getting like, and maybe this is like, there's certainly trade-offs to it, but I think being like a little bit more specific about the use case of where the payment will
Yeah.
be used and sort of optimizing, even if it's not going to serve 50 million people, but optimizing some experience that like really, really crushes it for like 1,000 people or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Even if it like feels like too niche, I think those can be like helpful just from like the low scale, but extremely high fidelity feedback you get from that kind of thing. So like, I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
just thinking
That's a
out
great
loud, but
point.
like, what if you go to like a Discord moderator who doesn't know anything about Bitcoin, Lightning, eCash, blah, 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 and you kind of come to them with some story about how they could, hey, do you want to encourage people to show up at your live sessions, or do you want to encourage people to to chime in on an answer. Maybe even wrap the payments with a little bit of a service. Here's a little survey bot where you can pay people to,
Hmm.
to get, to collect responses or something. And I get that feels like niche and weird or whatever. Like, but is there somebody you could find who like hears that and they really love it? And I'm sure the software is like very easy to build to do such a thing. But can you get like a Discord, admin who's disconnected sees the value in getting these kind of survey results and is willing to pay their audience for it, and then sort of people just see how easy the whole thing is, and that to me feels like doesn't compete with certainly buying coffee or even remittance.
Yeah.
It just doesn't compete. It kind of carves out. I believe this stuff is like the new stuff. The greenfield is the really interesting. So can you carve out that? We could probably brainstorm dozens of different hypotheses
Yeah. We
around
should definitely brainstorm. Yeah.
those new things.
Yeah. We should definitely
I,
brainstorm more on this because we could just do like 20 of them too. We could do bounties. We could do, I mean, everything people are like, we have an API, right? And anyone can, and the Boardwalk Cash is open source, right? So anyone could build all this stuff themselves. We can incentivize people to do it
yeah,
in kind of interesting
and
ways.
the other one, I think I mentioned this too, but I've dabbled with this idea of like building kind of like a game show, right, where you can actually
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
paid
Okay.
out. And we've,
Yeah.
in looking at that problem, we do struggle with this, like, how do you actually get inbound liquidity to these new people? And are you dealing with a bunch of like regulatory and KYC stuff? And that feels like heavy, but if like you just had a game show where people win dollars, that's like much simpler. Like dollars
Yes,
meaning,
this is like the
digital
ideal
dollars.
use case. Like any time where it's a company that wants to send money. So like the game show,
Yeah.
like you maybe you get money from advertisers and then you like just want to pay like the top 10 winners, like top guy gets
Yeah.
$100 and then 90 and then 80, and you just send them the eCash in this Boardwalk Cash link and they just like click it and they
Yeah.
have the money. Like then the question is like for that specific application, do you need like to give them a way to cash out? Like ideally someone like the Cash App integrates Lightning address and can like literally just say like put your cash tag in here and hit enter and like the Bitcoin's in your Cash
Yeah.
App. Or like,
Yeah.
do you need to put like a bit refill, like little like module thing, or like how do we make it easy? So, but that's like the target because it's someone that knows about Bitcoin, has Bitcoin, and has money, and just like wants to incentivize people to do things, or win things. AI is another. The AI agent stuff is the other. We didn't talk about that, but that's the other big one.
Hmm.
Is um, is where there's a company called Open Agents that just launched yesterday, and they have this like open agent marketplace, and the agents that get submitted to the marketplace make money based on how active they were during the different sessions. So Open Agents makes money, and then they take a percent of that money and give it back to the agents that were the most active during the day or during the hour.
And the agents,
And they're
they're
paying out
AI
Bitcoin.
agents that are doing actions that are prescribed by somebody, or
Exactly. Yeah. So they let's say you want to chat with an agent to like tell you about dinosaurs or something. Like there might be one very specific agent that like is the, I don't know, dinosaur agent, and then you like chat with that one, and then they like rank them all at the end of the day, and then you like pay out based on their activity. And so like the idea is it's going to be completely open source. The idea is like if you're a developer building an agent, why would you launch it on G when they're taking a 90% cut, actually 100%? I don't think they paid on anyone yet, but like theoretically they're going to take a 50% cut to start. Why wouldn't you just put it on this like open agent marketplace where they're going to pay out way more and it's all open source and everything's like publicly displayed, and then they just like pay out every day. So that's like the idea, and they're actually using our API to which is using Nostr Wallet Connect to make those payments out programmatically. So like OpenAI only has, or Open Agents only has to click a button and it makes the payments out from their Bitcoin wallet programmatic. But I think that's an interesting use case too. Whereas like maybe the agent doesn't want Bitcoin. Maybe he like wants dollars, and he wants to be being paid out in dollars or there's different contributors to the ecosystem, and they can now get dollars instead of getting like Bitcoin. And then the other cool thing about eCash is those payments eventually could be made in eCash as opposed to Lightning. So they could literally be streaming eCash to those open agents like every second.
right.
And it would be 100% easy, doable, like just like a database, as opposed to like making a Lightning payment every second, which like crash everything. So
And would Open
that's like another
Agents,
use
is
case
that
too.
that's like a destination website that end users would go to like initiate these agent activities?
Yeah, exactly. So it's instead of going to like Meta.ai or ChatGPT, just go to Open Agents, and then there's like this whole marketplace of agents you can choose from.
And are they running like commercial agents, or there's open source agents, or kind of some mix? Whoever wants can kind of plug in.
It's whoever wants to come and post. I mean, it launched
They
yesterday,
don't run
but
their
I
own
think
agent.
it's like
Oh,
super early. But
this is the
I think
one?
they have a couple of
Is
their own agents.
Christopher working on this? Or
Yeah, it's Chris. Yeah,
okay,
it was GPU Topia. Yeah.
right, okay, yeah, yeah. I thought he mentioned
Yeah.
they're doing something kind of evolved, but yeah, it's like the marketplace for AI stuff.
Yeah, so that's cool because if you were to pitch, obviously Chris is a Bitcoiner, but if I was to go pitch like my API to, I don't know, a non-Bitcoin run company, like they would be like, wait, none of my agents are going to even want Bitcoin. But if you're like, well, actually, all you need is Bitcoin, like all you have to do is send them cash, and then they can use that cash at like back into the ecosystem. Like you could send them cash. They have now this balance on like Boardwalk Cash, let's say, and that balance, by the way, is connected directly to your platform, so they can send and receive money like with a click of a button. I think that's like pretty cool. Like same for the game show thing. Like you use Nostr Wallet, they click a button, pops out, they get money if they win, and then they could send money back to you with like a click of a button, whether it's like a Zap or I don't know, maybe sell hats or whatever, like have a store of some kind. They can send
Yeah,
money back. So it doesn't really work for the game show idea, but like you can see like some businesses that would want to send money and then receive money, it's like very useful for.
yeah, yeah. You could imagine, I guess, like a gaming network where people pay to subscribe, or maybe it's some sort of premium content
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that you
yeah.
can buy. So it
Yeah,
kind of has that
exactly.
same cycle to it. Yeah. But these kinds of things, all these like new use cases to me feel like where the opportunity is, which is like you've built like kind of this infrastructure wallet thing, and like obviously it can be used by, 300 million Americans or more, 8 billion people or whatever. But actually like I almost feel like it's on us as a Bitcoiner community to figure out what are some of the experiences that will demonstrate how these can be used very uniquely for payments versus kind of,
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
versus sort of assuming that people will figure out the right stuff to do with it. Cause like I think in a sense we both need the technology to work and the kind of products that enable that. But then I think we also need like, it's something kind of like the experiences or the content or the applications that drive
Yep.
people who are otherwise agnostic to the underlying. They just like drive demonstrate how great these things can be and how much better they are than
Right.
sort of like these experiences you couldn't do if you had to sort of integrate traditional Rails and stuff like that, either for like cost or complexity or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such a, like, there's something like to spend a lot of time thinking about, but like some of those markets, like a lot of these markets, I never think about, right? So it's helpful to get other people's views. And like the way AI is working right now, there's like two companies and they like own everything. So like you probably, if that's the way the world works, which would be sad, but like let's say it's just open AI and they own 90% of the like consumers, you don't need any type of payment. You can just like use your credit card because like,
Right.
and they have like SLAs with like the agents, like that, and then done. You don't need anything. So like it depends on the market. And obviously, markets that are like monopolies is you can use credit cards because like they can take the risk. And then there are some markets that like it works extremely well for. And so kind of getting other people's perspectives is helpful because I only spend time in like 4 different areas.
Right. Yeah. And I particularly like markets where the Discord example that we were discussing, where you have like one decision maker around like aggregation, like an aggregation point that can sort of decide that we're just going to do it. We're going to like hide the details, but we're going to distribute money for a purpose, and it's going to go to a lot of people for some reason, you know? That to me feels like,
I mean, I would pay it too.
yeah,
Right? Like I would be like, I will give you, if there's a Discord server, you know, it's a public announcement for anyone watching. Like if you have a Discord server and you're like, I want to test this out, like I'll just give you like $20 and you could send like a quarter to everybody, like, or whatever, it's more or less. I think it could be, that's like a really interesting thing. Like the Twitter thing, I was just like, whatever, I'll spend $20 and see if this works. And it turns out it works super well. So, yeah, I'm willing to also, I mean, you don't have to put your own money up. I'll spend a little bit of money to
actually, there's one is somebody showed me before this. I think it was like a trivia that was built into Slack, where you just like install a bot, and then it helps everybody in your Slack kind of play trivia, and it does like real time competition and multiple choice, like, oh, game's beginning, and then everybody's like competing against each other. But you can imagine a version of that where like the admin initiates such a game, distributes dollars to everybody, people pay dollar to buy in, and then they compete against each other. And maybe the more competition that happens, eventually people are like funding it themselves. And it's sort of like a business model for the admin to maybe they get to keep 10% of all, you know, the rake or something.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Like building a little trivia game is like, you know, trivial. It's not very hard. And there's already ones that have good patterns, but something that kind of like it, you know, you could pitch it, you could like contact, you know, dozens of Discord moderators, be like, this is going to help with engagement. It's also going to help you monetize your Discord better. And you can create custom content around like, you know, whatever topic you're doing, like video game, you know, League of Legends or, you know, Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah, that's the cool thing too, is like, yeah, that's what I think people like don't appreciate too, is like, because of the way Nostr Wallet Connect work, like monetization is built in. So like the Discord server admin could charge like 10%. It's already built in our API. It's like just another field you have to add, but like they could charge like 10%. And so they could like seed it. And if people use it, they are making money every single time. So yeah, anyway, there are a lot of potential things out there. So
well, let's keep jamming on these experiences. You know, we can wrap this session, but let's keep jamming on Signal. We can keep chatting and thinking about kind of new ideas here. And if other people, you know, are watching it or, you know, have ideas to chime in, please do send us, because we want to hear them and think of all the best stuff. Cool.
Sounds good. Thanks, DK.
Last words. Anything?
Helpful.
Everybody should find this at boardwalkcash.com if they want to play. Anything else they should be checking out?
Yeah, go to boardwalkcash.com. Boardwalkcash.com. If you want to test it out, I would go to makeprisms.com, which is like our the other stuff we're working on, which is the Discord bot. So if you go to makeprisms.com and then if you click apps, you'll see the Discord bot. And if you want the API, which is a Lightning API, so like has nothing to do with eCash, but eCash is interoperable with it because it's on Lightning. You can go to makeprisms.com and click the API button, and you can request access to the API. You go to docs.makeprisms.com to check it out, see how simple it is to integrate Lightning payment, and that's it.
And did you want to read your
and give me your feedback
in case
good,
people
bad,
want to type
anything? Just yeah, you can go to primal.net/bot. I have a short one. So
Slick. Slick.
primal.net/Bob, and Twitter I'm at Bob Scully 3.
Great. All right, man. Thanks for doing this. It's fun to hang.